Achando, we are live. Hello, viewers. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to another edition of the Diaspora Lounge. Amanda Sen Harit Salah, and I'm here with my co-host today, Eva. She's taking the back seat today, but yeah, I'm Salah, and Eva is in the studio too. Welcome back to the Diaspora Lounge. Last month we were here. This is like a program, a new program that we want to bring in so that we can have a dialogue and muna waxtana askan bi muna waxtana ñoo xam ne tamit ñu ngi si diaspora bi am na yu ñoo jànkuwanteel mënuñ koo wax and also issues affecting us in the Gambia as well and I believe ne war nañ see muna waxtaan ñun ñu fi nekk wala ñu nekk on the ground we have a say. We are Gambians, and I believe that that's why we brought this program to you guys. So welcome on board. I'm Salah again, and this is Eva. And today on the table, there's a table with you. I'm a few issues, but not saying the most pressing issue at the moment, of course, is the road clearance, the illegal encroachment in the Gambia that is happening currently by the police and the NRA and all the bodies, the stakeholders involved. At the moment, we have a special guest who is waiting, and then we're going to interact. The acting PRO of the police force is here with us today. Temo Negasin guest, and you get referred to for you to honor our invitation. Thank you so much. Gambia Yokoboka, although nekun for why our eyes are in the Gambia, we know what's going on. You know, we're watching, you follow, and we're interested. We're Gambian, so we really honor. We're happy that you honor our invitation to come and hear from us and to come and answer some questions that we have or Ninjitam have. We are their voices, and I believe we're happy that you're here. So welcome to the Diaspora program. Eva, my co-host, would you like to say hello and welcome yourself, everybody?
Right, Salah, as you said, you've said it all. The most important thing is that we're just going to thank the PRO or the acting PRO for coming forward, because this is nice, Salah, having one of the leaders in the police force for them to come and then have a face-to-face with the Gambians. It is indeed welcome, and then it will be welcomed by majority of the Gambian as well. We need to dialogue. So for dialogue, correct, there will be a conflict, there will be a problem. Since problem is on the ground, let them come on the air by honoring people's invitation, not only Voice Out Digital, but other media or online medias. And then also for not, picking and choosing, to be honest. Special respect to the Gambia Police Force, especially PRO or the acting PRO and the PRO himself, because Suko accept little don't happen. But Rafeduna Ninko Ibe, this is a Voice Out Digital, Hamgen Komuron Kadu Askan bi, Saibu Askan bi Yengato rek dinañ ci tok. Mashallah, Sala nak dama koy train parce que Eva du yagara damay ne mes ni menteng ndax damay dem maternity leave, mo tax may train Sala lim ci bari lu baña yaga rek parce que dama bëgg mu ñëmé caméra bi tam mu mun wax bu mu nekk Eva rek bu mu doon yëfi kenn yëfi ñëpp la ku nekk war na ci mëna gis sa bop mo tax ma bayiko rek muy jital Diaspora Lounge bi di su ko defee ñu dem maternity leave lay dem nag si lu bañ a yàgga te mënuma boole lire monsieur Bojang ak wax ji du dem kon ñu dugal suñ PRO.
Hello, welcome. This is our PRO, Mr. Sasawar. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. This is Voice Out Digital. I'm on a platform being SEO, and we've been following your work, both home and away. We've been following your work and on a daily basis. And feeling you were I'm sure that you bari invite name las platforms you bari you were repeat. But I believe ne communication is not enough. I think the more people, because ku nekk have your own viewers yoo xam ne xëj na am na message yoo xam ne bëgg mu jàlla, because a lot of the time xëj na tamit nit ci dañoo ne dégguma gisuma, but I believe ne surtout Gambien bi yëpp sa askan bi yu bari léegi war nañoo xam luy xew, and ñu ngi rafetlu seen liggéey bi. And I mean, for the first time, I mean, I've had a lot of feedbacks that dëkk bi si boppam ñu ngi naan like, we're behind the police. They're doing a good job, although some few ones are not happy as expected. But the majority of feedback that we have is refer to saying and stuff. So thank you for coming. I'll let you introduce yourself and say hello to my viewers so that we can start on. We have a few things that we want to ask you, some of which we are asking and some of them which askan bi ñoo nekk di laajte naan oh laajte leen acting PRO laajte leen ko lii laajte leen ko lii, but I'm sure we cannot cover all today, but the few ones we can based on the time that we have with you, we will appreciate the answers. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Alhamdulillah, I'm grateful for being given this opportunity to join your this medium to communicate to the Gambian people. And I would also take this opportunity to extend greetings to the Gambia Police Force, especially to the Inspector General of Police, by whose permission, by whose standing I am here to represent the Gambia Police Force. And I'm saying to your viewers too, this, like you mentioned, the Gambia Police Force is an institution that is here to serve the people. And by default, my responsibility is to be that medium between the Gambia Police Force as an institute to the general public. Every and any opportunity I have, I don't underrate. Whether it's online, whether it's newspaper, whether it's TV, it's a medium of communication. So I take advantage of every opportunity. Pour make sone fatina sa all of la warawa. Pour make sone mamuna am the opportunity muna waxtanal askan bi wax len woné nak dicté am dara lo xamné mo over communication, because if there is no communication there is prone to be that confusion, because nit ñi duñ xam ku nekk fan la tollu ak li tax ngay def leneen ak keneen liko def. So this is important as far as I'm concerned, and as far as the Gambia Police Force is concerned, through the reform process that's ongoing or that are ongoing, and one of the key is the communication unit to ensure that our services are at the doorstep of every Gambian individually, even if it's an individual who calls and wants to find out what's happening, we are more than ready to respond. And this is what we are doing, and this is what we'll continue to do. And I must say, I must thank especially VOD. I have not heard of VOD until this operation, but this operation every day, I would say, even when we are in the field, the first ever activity before we even depart from the ground, VOD is online, reporting everything. Every hour there's an update. It's like you've taken center stage. It's like it's all VOD, and that's a good thing. And I thank you for that, and the young ones out there sacrificing their time and resources to also contribute towards having that possible. And I must say, I am thanking every Gambian for giving us as police officers the responsibility, though it's a chosen profession that we choose to, but at the end of the day it's because of Gambians. If not, what's the essence of being a police officer? So what I would say is we are here to serve them, and we'll do only that. Thank you.
Thank you, Acting PRO. Thank you for that. And I think we'll just go straight to the point. I'm just going to start maybe asking a question. Eva, I'll probably ask him a question, then you can pick up if you want to ask him by that. Just to ask Sawo, this operation, why and why now?
Waaw jërëjëf comme noo ko waxee rek
am
na solo torop ñu bëri laajte nañ loolu lu tax opération bi léegi te ñeneen ñi bëri sax they went beyond that. Lii nekkul lu ees si Gambia. An operation like this, we are not seeing this for the first time. It had happened, and it's happening again, and we are sure it will happen again. I'm saying no. This is the last time we are doing this. The format, I'm not saying it will happen again because circumstances may differ, but for this reason, this is going to be the last, because every resource is available, and the will of the political will, the government is ready to ensure that everybody, as far as we are concerned, that is in this task force, to ensure that the task force does what is required. Lu tax lii mooy ne dañ gis ne dañ bàyyi xel ne suñu dëkk bi pour développement mu am dëkk bi dafa am a ponk yoo xam ne is very important. You buy for health, torop. And one of those is transportation system. Transportation system, we would say, it is cross-cutting across every activity of human beings, whether you are in a city, whether you are in a village, wherever you must be, and in every agency, every department, everybody, just in general. Because the lagi ne, pour ñu ko suñ ko starté pour nit ñi mëna jox seen kër yi mëna dem liggéey, transportation system la. Pour nit ñi mën a jóg seen kër yi dem si sob si transportation system bela ni ñu jog seen kër yi dem ci lopitaan yi the same thing mun a dem from their homes ñu dem si tool yi is transportation system mun a even our patients from one hospital to the other or from their communities put them to hospital is transportation system. So da nga gis ne transportation bi dafa cross cutting mooy ne lépp loo xam ne doomi aadama mu ngi koo def transportation bi dafa am solo waaye dañ tollu jamono boo xam ne transportation bi gaande fii nii dafa doy waar trop gis nañ ne I know everybody lii affect na everybody ne saa yu nekk su nekkee da nga am soxla te nga war a dox soxla boo xam ne dafa am solo trop si yow nga war a dem whether it's service for example the government provides services ay am institutions in government foo xam ne da nga war a dem foofu noonu lijjanti ay papers and documentation loo xam ne pour sa soxla la whether you are to register businesses whether you are to look for passports identification card or any other businesses that li nga am si government institutions and other parastatals and da nga move from your home let's take the medium is Brikama loolu laa dee del saa yu nekk as an example da ngaa jógee fu Brikama nga ñëw nga war a dem Serekunda wala nga war a dem Banjul nga war a dem liggéey ñun ñu bëri si ñun dañ dee travel to go to work so da ngaa gis ne many a times pour dem liggéey da nga war a teel a jóg toppatoo sax dafa mel ni guddi bi nga defar yëpp li nga war a defar nga teg ko by 4:30 latest yow da ngaa jóg nga mun a sangu balaa 5 o'clock yaa doom ñu bëri fajar si office bi lañ ko su nekkee Banjul ngaa def ñu bëri fajar bi Banjul lañ ko dee jullee li tax loolu mooy dafa tollu foo xam ne suñ transportation system bi for one reason or the other daf dee congest trop te daf dee am blockage congestion boobu noonu is as a result of blockage te blockage boobu noonu there are two main factors to that. The first factor is the vehicles on the road they contribute toward the blockage of the congestion. That is one. Two, mooy ne lépp loo xam ne nekkul si kaw yoon bi because yoon bi dafa am ñaar mooy ne foo xam ne tali la foo xam ne moto yi foofu lañ dee daw dama ka ñëw bi waaye si peegi yoon yi tamit yaa ngi am fu ñu wax de pédestrian foo xam ne nit ñi foofu lañ war a dox ndax dangaa ñëw taxaw foofu noonu xaar moto ndax dangaa nekk di doxantu dem sa soxla yooyu noonu tamit gis nañ ne si ñu bari ñoo xam ne dañoo def business ñoom jël nañ yoon boobu foo xam ne nit ñi foofu lañ war a dox ñu moomee ko seen boppa te place yooyu noonu suñ ko moomee seen bopp da ngaa gis ne dañ añ they prevent people ñoo xam ne dañu war a walk towards that instead of walking through the pavement dañ dee ñëw pour compete with vehicles on the road. So da ngaa gis ne all of this together dafa contribute towards our transportation system the difficulty congestion bi ñu fa dee am so da ngaa gis ne nit koo xam ne dafa war a dem liggéey mu wake up by 5 mu dal si yoon bi mun a travel to get to Westfield then to get to the office either yaa ngi dem Fajara yaa ngi dem Bakaw yaa ngi dem wherever you are going. So lima wax rek mooy ne usually that's the time you can get up to go to work and be at work on time. Te xam nañ ne liggéey faana yu bari especially tubaab logo it's about 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock you should be at work. So which means after 8 you are late. All right? And if every institution in this country, beginning from the government, because New York and the government system, government business system is not, it's not good. People are lackadaisical, people are lazy and this and that. So meaning so government, everybody has to be at work by 8 o'clock. So if that is the system, then the excuse has always been that dama amut moto, dama stuck in traffic, X, Y, and Z. There are always been this. So for those who can, would actually wake up by 5. For those like me who can't, unless that, your wife or somebody wakes you up, if that day the wife is in there, you will wake up by 6, 7, and which means automatically you are late. By 7 o'clock, when you leave your compound and you are on the road, you get into Banjul by 9:30 to 10 o'clock. So what I'm trying to look at, unless if you want to look at it, economically, even for the government in terms of development, it's going to affect our productivity because productivity has a relationship with time. Because that equally has a relationship with effectiveness and efficacy of the service that we provide for our people. You sign 8 hours to work. You get to work by 9:30 to 10 o'clock. People have been waiting for you. And what's left? 6 hours. Out of those 6 hours, you have to pray. You have to have your breakfast break. You have to have your lunch break and all others. So what we're trying to see, the time that is utilized per person to do the work that is required of the person, if you want to analyze this, is less. So what we are trying to say is, that affects the service we provide. That affects our productivity as a nation. That affects the development aspiration of this country. These are reasons. That is just one sector. Let's look at our health sector. Nurses need to be at work. Doctors need to be at work. Patients need to be transported from one hospital to the other. All of this. Now, that's the government. Now, come to the service people provide. You are a farmer, you are a businessman, you need to transport your goods from one place to the other, time and all that. So what we are trying to look at is this has been an issue and it's becoming endemic, it's becoming chronic, it's becoming an issue that, it's public knowledge that the problem in the Gambia is time. People say Gambian time and all that stuff because the traffic is too bad. And I think the government, for one reason or the other, recognizes this, understanding that our development aspiration has a relationship, cardinal relationship with our transport system because of the time it takes for one person to be able to travel from one point to the other. Even when you are to take a file, for example, you are taking a file from one ministry to the other, from one institution to the other, this takes time. So in general, these are some of the things in quote unquote possibilities. Why now? It's better to be late than never. It's better to be late than never. I know it could have been done in January, it could have been done before now. But the fact that it's happening now is what is important. So what is important now is to ensure that which they have instituted for the Gambia Police Force being the lead institute for internal security. And the Gambia Police Force have a role to play in transportation because we control the vehicles movement in and out of this country, on the road, where to park, where not to park, who to drive, which vehicle should be on the road. So we look into all of these things. So it's no mistake that the Gambia Police Force has been given this responsibility to coordinate to ensure that this works. But in coordination, in collaboration with stakeholders, we have the National Road Authority. Fatina, my lack angale. I'm sorry, I have been.
No, it's okay. It's like you get digger. You got digger.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's fine. Piano, sorry to interrupt you. Xam nga lu tax ngay laka angale parce que dang ko dégga soo ko déggu to ko laka kon ñu
no not really
it's fine
well comme li ma wax rek
so la di answer mi all of them nga tontu ko it's my question.
Okay. No, it's okay, he's very confident, that's why he can, this is what we want our authorities to be,
that's
active,
okay. Sorry to cut you out.
No, it's okay. So stakeholders, they through the National Security Council, through the Office of the National Security Advisor, came together to understand that this has national security issues, concerns. It does have, our development, these are interdependent on one another. And the security, the transportation, the businesses, and all that. So this is why they looked at this, and it's important that they had the opportunity to sit together as a government, institutions, and came up with the combination of this very high profile calibers, and all units, departments concerned are in this. That's what makes this very unique, and that's what makes it very powerful force. I can probably say that this task force is a very powerful task force because all the institutions have been represented who has a stake on the road are represented. Moi, Ben, National Road Authority. Senior National Road Authority, the National Road Authority is responsible for the roads in this country. When roads are being constructed by companies or through government by company, they are the body, government's institution responsible. It's been handed over to them to be responsible. So in terms of their wide width, naka lañ wara yapo xamnañ ñaata meter la. So moo tax ñu isaale ñoom si liggéey bii nii pour ñu mun ñoo woon si kaw yoon suñu ne dañoo yaatal yoon bi ñun police lañ ñun xamuñ yoon bi it's not our mandate to know yoon bi naka la yaakoo naka la guddee ak yooyu noonu moo tax even parking sooy park you apply through the police, but in consultation with road authority. Pour ñu mëna xam because suñu construct si la ñoo xam ne fii parking la fii du parking ak yooyu noonu because dañoo bàyyi xel si yooyu noonu yéen so moo tax ñuy àndaa ñooñu noonu but we'll go into detail into that later. So ñu ngi àndaa what we call fiscal planning. So fiscal planning tamit ñooy agency boo xam ne ñoo amee lépp loo xam ne sampa la si biir dëkk bi sampa anything that is construction. If you are to build anything, where to build it, how to build it, what kind of structure you need to build in that locality, in that location, they would have to approve the plan you have. so moo tax ñu ànd ak ñoom because li ñoo wax mooy ne dañoo yaatal te yaatal bi moom dafa mel ni dafa am ñoo xam ne dañ tabax ay néeg ay bitik ay store foo xam ne waruñ koo tabax loolu lañ nekk di wax nii kon ñoo xam ne ñoo leen jox lay siin ñoo amee the authority to allow somebody to build something anywhere ñu ngi ànd ak ñooñu su boobaa when we have those issues they can be addressed. That is two. Number three, you're going to talk about transportation and not talk about the drivers and not talk about the vehicles. So we have the Gambia Transport Union. Their president, their unit representative, we have what we call the taxi baggers people, the taxis, the other vehicles. They have different sections. But in essence, what is happening is this, that they are represented. At least their people are affected in this. So for their representatives to be part of this, you understand what is the concept behind this. We are not witch hunting anybody. We are trying to see how we can live amicably in this country and together to work towards the development of this country. This is why it was important to equally have them there. Then we have what we call the Livestock Owners Association. Why they came in this time is the fact that recently we've been seeing cattle overtaking our roads. Them foo xam ne su ma demee interview yu bari ñu la police yi lu tax génnewu leen lii lu tax génnewu leen dañu waxoon ne dafa am boromam dafa gaañu waaye dafa made a spell ne képp koo xam ne laal na nagaam yi dangaa dee and stuff like that. And like because of that the public I mean nobody touches those cattle and even the drivers, can you imagine, even the drivers hardly you would hear they knock one. So in essence when they are talking about this here on the street, wow, prone to accident, yes, the possibility is there. But hardly, I'm not saying it has never happened, but hardly they would knock them. The accidents are actually knocking those cattle. But government, government, it's government's responsibility to ensure that the safety of its people. And government has taken its rightful decision to ensure ne lépp loo xam ne dafa torox doomi aadama si biir dëkk bi ñu génne ko moo tax ñu am Livestock Owners Association, send President Munfa. They also have components and security component Munfa and all that. So what their stake in this is that they are the team responsible to ensure lepalo hamne katula animal la on our road ñu génne ko. So what they did is they had their group had men at New Hamne ñu dem TLE with police officers and security officers around. They have been given security to ensure we are protected and ordered because traffic la. Understand? So they will have officers on the road to control the traffic so that at least they are at risk. So you transport to initially it was intended for them to be at CDC. So in CDC limit. Why for security reason, guy assess they are going to take them now to Abuko when they live in Harriet.
Yeah.
Yes. So basically, exactly, livestock. Yes. Why we also included the municipal councils and area councils. So since we are in the Greater Banjul area, I'm an BCC representative, I'm an KMC representative, I'm an Brikama representative. So like we have, because this councils have a stake in this equally. Because you are at Marseille, businesses around, many times they would say, we hear them say, even that when they face council is KMC monema talk fee, KMC momali, KMC momala. So lolo all of that to not to be distracted, we have KMC representative. It's not only one. You have their staff, we have their security personnel, so that what we are doing to ene luñ def dafa nekk loo xam ne ñu ko def si liggéey bi na nekk loo xam ne lu set la na nekk loo xam ne lu leer la na nekk loo xam ne dafa àndaa yoon dafa àndaa ak suñu luwaa yi nekk si biir dëkk bi. That is primary, and that is why we constituted all these institutions, because NRA they have their laws, they have their act. You have fiscal planning, they do have theirs. The KMC, they do have their bylaws. We have the transport union, they have their constitution. Livestock owners, they have. So what we are trying to say, people are committed to this. But most importantly, the constitution of the Gambia is supreme to all of these things. And the institution that is responsible for that is the Gambia government, is the government of the day. So the Gambia government has taken up its responsibility to ensure that the transportation system in this country is resolved to ensure the safety issues around the road, on our road, is resolved. This is why we started this, and this is why we are on it. Thank you.
Mashallah, Manako, mashallah. Well said, acting PRO. So now, Legi, where's the confusion coming from? Because if you guys, as you said, all this high profile, as you mentioned, you get together, you have a sit down, you talked about it. Why are people still nagging and mourning? We totally understand that Gambians will nag and they will mourn, but still, why? Why people are refusing to understand or to take this? Because I'm the new get oh, KMC are not aware, or the government are not working hand in hand out with KMC. KMC nyonyo jox price bi. So was it there is come no mention it the communication more lack was like a communication done properly, meaning that definitely radio programs for one thing they will come out. I heard that letters has been sent out to people. Is it the ignorance of the Gambians as well? So where's the problem? One more to ask and be bente, you refuse to take this law hamne, as you mentioned, is in the best interest of all the Gambians.
Waaw jërëjëf gis nga lépp loo xam ne when development is coming, when change is coming, I mean change, the meaning of change, if there is no change in behavior, then we've not learned, because there has to be change in behavior. So and that when that's happening, I mean human nature is by default selfish. You understand? And you have to understand what is involved here. Many people have spent their life savings or took loan from banks to establish certain businesses, having to remove them there. Business, I mean, they have to react. That's normal. Okay? But I think it's false to say that we have not communicated enough. It's really false, because what happened is there has been press releases, one of which as early September. Press releases September were sent to all radio stations, and personally I went to television GRTS, I went to QTV, I went to iAfrica, and any opportunity I have to talk to a journalist, whether it's online, offline, and we put this on our social media handles to ensure to communicate to the people. This has been translated from English, from the text to English, on news, GRTS, news, QTV, and all that, and news app, and also on radio programs in Mandinka, one of the main local language we do have here. So when this happened, the Gambia Police Force being the lead institute, by default, communication, my office is responsible for communications. Like in this task force, I am the leader for sensitization, meaning what communications and all. This is why when it started, I had to more or less write to all, communicate to all media houses, whether you are online, whether you are offline, whether you are on paper, wherever you are, as long as. So we have a vehicle, a special vehicle dedicated just for the journalists. And for this reason, because we want this to be very transparent, because we know there will be a lot of talk. This is why we have them, and we pleaded with the journalists, not just to come and cover the how would you call it, the ceremony, the beginning, and that's it. Maybe you come, but they would follow us on a daily basis on every action that we are taking. The moment that we are talking to them, the moment that we are telling them to remove, the moment that they remove or we remove, the moment that they refuse, every minute, every second, every step, they cover it, so that Gambians can see. Yes, they can analyze it anyhow. That's no one can control that. Because the way we analyze things, the way we see things are totally different. I can look at something and say it's white. The other person say, no, this is not white, it's black. And those are choices they made. This is why they're saying what we are doing. We are because it's the security they are now looking at. And remember, the security is only there. Our main reason, our purpose being part of this task force is to ensure that the laws are enforced. It's as simple as that. NRA fiscal planning ñu wax ñu ne ñi dañoo waxtaanaa ñoo te ngeen ko gis si télé bi ak Facebook si dañoo waxtaanaa bon kan mooy borom fii man la yaa def lii fii waaw warloo koo fee def waaw dama bëgg nga génnee ko waaw understand nga su ne déedéet ñun foofu lañ ñëw understand nga it's as simple as that su ne déedéet rek that's where we come, because it has to happen. We can't wait till tomorrow. But we are equally reasonable, because we are human beings. Dafa am ñoo xam ne even if we want to, we can't. ñun suñu bopp suñu moom mu ne du ko def dañ ko war a yaaxal ñu war a génne everything suñ ko bëggee duñ def lu ñu daan def lu bëri lu ñu def mooy you see structures yoo xam ne dañ war a daan. What we do is we go to the pillar, dañ ko day gaañ ñu koppati ko, you make it ugly and all that as a sign that we've been here and we ask this person to move or remove this. So lu des moom moo ko war a def. So suñ ñëwaatee the next time ñu fekk ko fa ñu ne la yow waxoon nañ la lii since kañ pour nga génne lii génnewu la mu start is very excuse waa dama defoon lii suma maam moo deyoon su ma dugg na fa la génne na fa la say ok no problem léegi comme yow dugal moto bi ñu dem si station. And some of them would try to resist. And when you resist arrest, police is the responsibility to arrest. It doesn't mean whether borong nanguna arrest na nangut arrest. Understand? Nanguna arrest na nangut arrest. No, what we crime here, this is an ongoing operation. Already is laid out. They don't want to gain everything. So keep on having the mom that you obstruct put the flow. We can arrest the person for obstruction. We can for non-compliance. So there are a lot of things happening. But come no ko here Gambian mo dafa yomb trop just to look at the negative thing. But lolu ité wuñu lu ñu ité moy né we have a responsibility. So police bobu dafa make sure né mu arrest ko non. So arrest bobu non dafa depend because fi so waxe rek ñu né force. You know police mom force la they use excessive force and all that. We use force because the law is what gives us the powers, the force itself. We use force, reasonable force. Law hand never under at what is happening on ground. Because when somebody refuses, you have to restrain the person. With force possible, in law hand never commensurate, law hand because for example, you know, come I work as a duma them not trying to tie, another officer will come we are trying to drag the person, we are using force. Look at that. We did not slap, we did not kick, we did not blow. So where is the force? We don't do them. They know how to more. We can't do that. So where is the force? Where is the abuse? Because nobody will take is that that's part will take is maybe it's just a snippet of law and a little more happen. You cut correct first send go TikTok at you or Facebook, police brutality, XYZ. And we have to use if you don't use the force, what is the essence of us being there?
That's right.
I mean, we are professional, we are trained, how to use the force. Because that's why nobody else is allowed to use the force. If you're not a police officer, you are not allowed to use the force. It's constitutional and it's professional. This is why when police officers are going, the PIU are going out, they are being issued with what is constitutionally mandated for them to use as police officers. They've been given seals for their own protection. That seal is not for any other person, it's for themselves. The seal. They also have what we call the baton. What is the essence of the baton? Beyond that, they are given the gas, they would call it. Then you do gas, para gas, and they are given that. So what we are trying to say is this: everything has stages. Stages, especially when you are trying to handle, is. Because we have crowds. They are, they are okay, calm crowds and all that, but they can also turn to hostile. And when they do, who can manage them? Are the people who are trained to manage them. So this is why we are going out all ready to ensure that we are not surprised. With anything that happens, we can be able to handle it. So what I'm going to say is this: we would arrest people because it's part of our mandate. How we arrest them is how we are trained to arrest them. When they don't comply, we use every force possible as per the law to ensure we arrest the person. And that's what we do. And sometimes you guys would see we push and pulling with people, dragging them, trying to put them in the truck. You think we are throwing them, and you say, abuse and all that stuff. So this is what we do.
Thank you. Lolo leer na Piaro duñ jël sa time lu bari parce que after we will use your words and do our analysis comme non lañ ko dé gëna défé, but it's nice you coming on board nga leeral yépp, because people like me, I was as a citizen, I have every right to go on social media and then I can only base it on what I am saying, but you coming over and then you giving us all these facts, it is a bonus as well, and to Gambian people listening. So kudos to you. But to your defense, we are living in the West. We know, Salah and I, force has to be used. Come law, it is constitutional. Yes. Why come to the Gambian ku nekk lu la favor ak loolu nga day jël. Tay man suma leen gisoon ma ñu def ko suma mag wala suma jëkkar li ma favor rek laay def mooy trying to bring the police down by taking just a shortcut video and put it on TikTok. So on that note, because I was there on the ground in the Gambia, when, you know, I think it was the number plate thing. It was very tough on the side of the police officers. It was very, very tough. And I went online for Gambians to comply. For Gambians not to comply, to be honest, you know, I'm going for digger. Can you move on, Salah, if you have any question? We don't want to take his time. He's a very busy man trying to put hejal ñu. So ñu jël rek yi nga xam ne mooy the key ones. Then we'll leeral ko. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been following them very closely. Most of the footage is, everything is out there. And I'm sure Mom Siboham son and I'm going to them from one media house.
He's tired, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be repeating questions, the same thing and over. Just one thing, right? Maybe two questions. Maybe one is one yes or no. Is there any chance that this has anything to do with the OIC project or Hidnagandingana aspects today? If it's going ahead, like you guys are just trying to clear the road so that Gani Gambia is something different, number one. And number two, also, like you said, as earlier on, you mentioned about attitude change, because Gambian be Tamlu S we don't want to sacrifice for the future, because you start seeing they're not going to be happy about it. So if you talk about attitude change and the system change and all that, is it that you guys as a stakeholder, everybody come together and acknowledge that there is a system failure within the institutions, both the governments, the area countries, the NRA, and all that? Dafide am muy Gambie wala Europe jël sa doom yaa ko lum jël baye so minal Gambian lu bon minal leen ñaaka follow loi and the police ñaaka def xëñna seen liggéey to this extent, and other stakeholders di bàyyi nit ñi like ñu bare nga naan KMC fay naa tax KMC de la mos ma xaalis du tax police di ma xam nga there's a lot of things yoo xam ne it's not clear to the people. So obviously we accept there's a system failure, and holistically as a country, do you think the police can do more, even from this exercise, to even perhaps sensitize the population so that we will have a dialogue? Lower Bangfa is there to guide, but do you buy at any day, you know what, let's bring force because Lower Bangfa. But we need to look at Gambia as a country, and we need to come into the psyche of the people to understand to that level, are we forcing people to come and say law banker? Implement. But I think can the police do more to sensitize people, because ignorance with the body, and people are just not aware, and they let me know police other not institutions, area council, and then all of a sudden you just want to come. People will look at like, oh, you're dancing. What do you think? That do we first of all accept there is a system failure within this institution, and can we do more as a country holistically?
Yes, me as a young Gambian, I understand that there is a lot that needs to be done in this country. I wouldn't have to beat about the bush with that, because no muntimel kuneka sadika and be able to this is one of the reasons I joined the Gambia Police Force, is to contribute to national development. When I was leaving MRC, I want to work for the government. Which department? I came from a health background, okay? And I've been doing that for the past 15 years. So, but I've always wanted to be a security person. And we thought, all of us would say, service, them school or then job, them service and all that. I had the same mentality, but having to come to the place, Mamuna understand when I joined, after having graduated from the university, in the Gambia Police Force, we have no less than 200 graduates, no less than that. We have master's holders there. So it's not just about the papers. It's not just about that, but it's beyond that, because police police tamit dafa soxla lu bari lo xamne pour ñu mëna def seen liggéey té lolu nonu yeen askan gi ñu mëna jappalé ci lolu. And this is an opportunity. Anyway, as dama dé wax ne yeen la Gambians ñoo xam naka la what the issues are in this country, and how do you think you want to be police, because we are here to serve you. It's as simple as that. How do you want to be police? Meaning we have to look at everything holistically. yéen a ñu jox liggéey yéen a ñu jox sas yéen a ñu sas liggéey te su nekkee da ngeen ñu sas liggéey te li ñu war a liggéeyee si boobaa we don't have enough of what I know to have everything enough is difficult but if we don't have what we need to do the work with we have an issue te xam nañ ne yéen a dee nekk si National Assembly si yéen a dee enact laws suñ isee anything yéen a koo accept or yéen a koo decline so in general what we are trying to say is in as much as we want to do the work yéen ñu sas liggéey boobu noonu yéen a ñu war a jàppale coming to the general view of the Gambia comes a question which has nothing to do with policing because that's the police perspective. Now whether we need to do more. Yes, every institution in this country needs to do more. Every institution in this country needs to do more. But that goes with a lot of things, a lot of resources to ensure that we are working optimally. So lead dafa bokk si yoo xam ne si suma campaign la ne nit ñi pour ñu mën a understand ne police are also limited with resources that they can use to actually work function optimally. And ñu mën a jàppale pour loolu noonu it's the public. A typical example is that the entire Gambia police force, as per the constitution, is only the PIU, the paramilitary, who are allowed by constitution to have a gun. Yéen a ko fa def yéen la su nekkee ne yéen da ngeen toog ba gis ne when after the incident ngeen gis ne dëgga ñu war a protect si boppam are they protected because these are the questions ñoom seen boppa naam protect nañ ñoom seen boppa moo to protect us. So the question comes, should the police officers be everybody should be armed? But that decision is yours, not us, because you only make a decision. So what I'm trying to say here is that in as much as we are pointing fingers to the police, we equally need to look inward ourselves as a nation, how we want this development to go in. But what I would always say is, I think gone are the days that would still be blaming and pointing fingers at people and institutions because every individual is been given a responsibility in this country. And the Gambian is so good with the fact that it does not affect me as far as it doesn't affect me. Can you imagine in this operation, people will be arrested, I'll be on ground, Piaro balal ko, Piaro balal ko. It's not me. How can I balal? It's not me. It's the regulations. It's how can I balal? As if like, okay, man so balal says Piaro more bon. It's not, I'm not PRO for Sisa Okunda. I'm PRO for the Gambia Police Force. And I'm doing, the work I'm doing is not for Sisa Okunda, it's for the Gambia Police Force. And this is what is happening here in this country, everywhere. That the work we are doing, we are interested in doing. We are the very people who would come back and tell us, you are doing this good, but you have to do it bad. Because what you are doing is so correct that if you do it, somebody will be affected. So in general, this is what. Yes, your first question, whether it's OIC related or not. I'm hearing this for the first time.
Piero, the same question na buga like bala mo neka something trying to repeat mo. Guy you know yes, OIC lisala wa ba para semester item ni new December. You guys are trying to impress you know the tourist people because some the Gambians are as tourists as well. So tourists ngeen neka di impress ni pour ñu gis ne Gambia mu ngi develop. Nga continue rek so buga answer. And
that's good. I think that's a good thing even if that is the case. That's a good thing. Why not? It's a good thing if we realize that our country is in such a mess that, this is what is happening and it contributes to, the tourism, whatever industry, it also affects that. And also the OIC is coming and all that. Why not? Even if that is the reason, or the only reason, I have not thought of that. But even if that is the only reason, it's a worthwhile adventure. At the end of the day, by extension, the benefit does not limit to that. It affects both you and I, the people on the ground. But this is not to my knowledge. This is not to my knowledge. And as far as I know, this has not been. And having to have asked this too, is that, yes, even if that is the case, it's a good thing. Having to do a good thing, you don't have to justify. As long as what you are doing is good and is in accordance with the laid down rules and regulations. And most importantly, for whom are we doing this at the end of the day? If it is for the tourism industry, the tourism industry is mostly in Senegambia end. Okay, fine. That's one. Two, the OIC too. Mostly those are the roads. Senegambia to Banjul Airport and all that. I know individually people will go into the town and try to familiarize themselves, and that's good. So even it's for that sake, it's good that those people would come to this country and find out that our country is organized, and find out that our country is motorable, don't not stuck in traffic for 10 hours, moving from one distance to the other. So I think even if that's the case, it's good. That's my response.
I
All right.
think
Thank Piero.
Yes.
Man, Sala, I'm not two questions. Bala mo dem, come you get your time, honestly. And then dinañ ñëw ci mom having a health background and all that. You bëggon nañ ko like honestly. Would have loved to have a more in-depth interview with him. His career being a medical, background from MRC, having a good pay because MRC, they get paid very well. Their salary is very attractive, and then joining the police force. Nga xamne negativity rek yow police rek ngay join. Yow de mom paré nga pour ñu disrespect and all that. We love that bu ñu xam more why higna. With time Sala, one of the team, either you and I, dinañ nekk si ground dinañ ko dem am special interview boo xam ne moom rek lañ bëgg a am liñ bëgg a laajte mooy people are Gambians feeling intimidated seeing the gunmen around on the street, shops, mu ngi ko distract a little bit, so dinañ ñëwaat rek ci question boobu noonu.
Yes.
So are Gambians feeling intimidated seeing all these guns? Xam nga I've seen all this, there is a trauma going on in the hearts of many of the Gambians. Seeing a gunman, daf leen de lu bari la leen de def xaw ma da understand nga fi ma waxee. Seeing a uniform man, a gunman, that trust lañ bëgg a yéen tam ngeen indi the state securities and then the citizens. Comme gis naa ami bi ngi taxaw téye fetel xam nga rek ami soo leen gisee rek sa xel dafa dem si Yaya Jammeh xëy na loolu la rek ñu fonne da ngeen a Yaya Jammeh.
Yeah, I think this is a fair question. Actually, it's a fair question because the question is, this is an internal matter. Why do we have the military, much more with guns around and all that? It's a very fair question, and the answer to that question is that it's not a bad one, and the issue we looked at is whether it's constitutional first to have them on the ground. That is one. That's the most important thing. Whether they have the mandate to be on the ground. Because because you can't just come and just be talking because you want to talk or mislead the population. And in as much as, yes, we had issues in the past in this country, I think we are seeing less gun people around than now. It's happening for a reason. And I think that's what is important. It's happening for a reason. Before this operation, they were not around as they are within this period in those localities. That is important. So sometimes we contextualize issues and understand the circumstance and the basis for why they are happening. That's okay. The second thing is the Gambia Armed Forces has a component or a unit, if you like, National Guard, that has police responsibilities, meaning functions of the police they can do as military officers. So for this reason, they can be brought in whenever their service is required by the state for state function. And this is just one of those. So in essence, this is one part answer to that. Now, for the trauma, it's a psychological issue. It's going to be difficult to analyze that because those are things that is different, how you see things and how I see things. Having to relate what is happening with what had happened
in the past.
I don't think it's very fair. It's not fair at all to relate what is happening now, having to be amongst us on the ground operation will remind you. I mean, it's difficult to say in general how many we can say Yaya Jammeh was a tyrant, was a dictator for this period. Actually, in physical sense, how many population are affected physically? We've been interacting with those gunmen in this country. Go to the how do you call it, the talks, the political talks and all that. You go the entire combo, if it is Banjul, if it is Serakunda here, the entire town is with guns, boys and girls, everybody mingling around and all that. So this is not one that is sorry about that. I'm being distracted a bit.
No, it's all right. You totally understand it. Yeah. You're coming you have been in Gambia enough time.
Yes.
It's okay. We understand.
Yeah, all right. Yes, loolu laa doon wax rek dafa feel ne daal I will reassure Gambians that whatever we are doing dafa doon loo xam ne is to the interest of the state, is to the interest of Gambians, is to ensure ne dañ ko def loo xam ne dafa ànda ak loi, dafa ànda ak yoon. Te lu ñoo ñaan rek mooy ne yes, it's normal for people to have opinion. We cannot control that. But what people also need to do is they need to base their analysis on facts, not just conjectures, not just whatever. Because willful damage, misinforming the public and all that. At the end of the day, who is affected? Not me as an individual, but it's the nation. Because what we are doing today, what we have been doing for the past 2 weeks, and I'm sure, ask your family members here, the outcome, the impact it had within these two weeks, it's so great. It's really so, you can't imagine this is the Gambia I used to see. This is the Serakunda, the Brikama, sorry, the Tabokoto, the Latrikunda I used to pass. It's like, really, this is the place, the space, the air, ventilation, health. It's just crazy. So for me personally, I am so attached to this.
Piero, yo, it's so great. It's so great. But do you know how many Gambians, especially us living in the West, are questioning that in a continent, that continent. People are saying it is a ceremonial show off. Because they forget COVID, going around, doing this, all media houses were behind you guys. You were not the acting PRO by then. And it stopped all of a sudden. Now, this operation, which is tough, but not to that extent, because 90% of the Gambian population said yes to it, whether you are aware or you are not aware. But is it going to be something that's going to continue or that's going to last long? A lot of Gambians here, a lot of comments here, are they going to be, is it, the monitoring expect to make sure it's sustainability, the sustainability of it. People, are you guys going to continue this fight? We know that it's going to be tough. Because development must be tough, and it will be tough.
Yeah, it is. That's the intention. That's the plan. That's what we are working towards, and that's what is on the table to ensure this is sustained. Okay. One thing we need to understand is this is an operation. I would always say that. People ask me, "Oh, operation and we're like, okay,
exactly. I'm glad that you are bringing that because people lack confidence in our policing. That they will start something and they will not finish it.
Okay, fine. Let's understand it this way. When we talk about operations, operations are, people are tasked. Remember, this is a task force for a reason and for a duration. We have to understand that. This task force is not meant forever.
Thank you.
We're not going to have this going every day. It's not going to be possible. That's not the case. That's not the plan. If that's what people feel, or that's what people think, that when we stop, it has stopped again. No, people have to understand that why we are doing this is because our routine activity to ensure this works is not working. So we have to constitute a team together to enhance that and ensure that a massive resource of human resource and whatever financial resource is put into this to ensure for this duration that whatever is on the road is removed. That is going to be for a period. It's not for abadan. People have to understand that.
That's clear.
That's very critical. But again, yes, that doesn't mean that it actually has stopped. That component, that part of the program has stopped. But there are plans in place to ensure that people don't come back on the road again. But that doesn't mean that we'll be having this same team going around. No. The plan is first. This part of the mandate of this task force is to ensure, to also make recommendations. Because you're going around and you see what is happening, why it is happening, and what are the best ways to ensure this does not repeat itself. So the task force is mandated to make recommendations to that effect. Currently, what we are doing is this. We divide ourselves into groups. We understand that the Gambian, honestly, the Gambian is stubborn. I'm not, using a bad word. Stubborn is not a bad word. They get bopper. Naturally.
Well, Piero, please, even if it is a stubborn word, use it, because we have to use that force for them to listen. If it takes the police for them to dictate the citizen for the right thing to be done, apply it. As you said, constitutionally, you guys have been given the right, so use that force. As I said, 90% of the Gambian population are in support with this task force.
So what we are doing currently is this. We divide ourselves into two. We have the main team that goes for the operation, because they call it destruction. For me, it's not a destruction. Because what happened is those people illegally occupied, no matter how you call it, whether they have been whatever, because most people have been given those spaces or illegally, or those they occupy those spaces illegally. They don't have any documentation to prove that this is theirs. Many a times it's just squatters and all that. You have a fence, a compound, somebody will come to you and say, in your fence, can you allow me to put this? And where your fence stop is where your property stop. From your compound onto the road is by the state, is the people. But you allow people to build structures there. Chaoses and everything stops. And at the end of the month, they pay to you because you allow them to put it on their fence. This is what we are removing. Okay, coming back to what I'm saying is that we have two teams. The first team is on the operation. The second team is a follow-up team, which I'm a part of. We'll go back to where we have started. We started from
follow-up team.
Everywhere?
Is the IGP of police? Is the IGP of police not using you enough? You can't be everywhere. Let them get some team on the ground as well. You are tired. You cannot be representing the Gambia Police Force on radio, television, newspapers, representing the Gambia Police Force on the ground, representing the Gambia Police Force on follow-up as well. Where are the other police? Where are the other members? Are you the educated one in the service? Are you the only one with a degree? Are you the other one, only one with a master's degree? Come on, let's move on. Let's get someone as well to do it. Oh, I can do the fight. Hang on, you need
Not really. What happens is
business. I'm going police, but we love the stigma in you. This is what we want. We're Gambians like you. I'm not trying to, bribe you up, but kudos.
So what actually happened? Why I joined them is this, because I'm responsible for the media. I wanted the media to cover that. I took the media from the operation. I wanted them to cover what we are doing, the follow-up, so that the Gambians can know this is for real, this is happening. So I had to be there to coordinate that, to also talk to the people on camera so that they know this is what is happening. We are arresting people. These are the number of people we arrested, and for this reason we arrested them. And they are taken to Serekunda station, and that's where they are. Before I came here, I was writing two stories which I published on the Facebook page. That this is what we have done. As far as follow-up is concerned, we've arrested about 70 people for non-compliance. And out of that, a number of them has been taken to court. We're going to take all the 70 to court. It will be overwhelming. So they'll be given bail, and in batches, they would be taken to court. So we've taken about 28 to court. Out of that, 17 pleaded guilty, and the other 11 pleaded not guilty. So that's court proceeding. That will continue. So this is why we followed up. I made sure I am part of that team with the camera team, the VOD representative, Kirfatu, the Faru Network, all the newspapers, Foroya, Voice, all of them, they would come. Independent Standard, they would come so that they can see what is happening. This is why I said this is one of the best task force as far as this is concerned. And the reason being, we try as much as possible to communicate also to the Gambian people to understand that Gambia has changed. Gambia is changing. Because the only way that we can function as a nation is to go by regulation, is to go by the rules, because that's what we all agree to. The moment we deviate from that is where we have confusion. So we are showing to you that this is what we are doing, and we are going by the book. And the book is they occupy places regardless of who give them the places at the time. As long as they are in a location where it is legal for them to be there, we ask them to move and we give them time. That's one of the reasons we started in Sitting Corner. We did not start from Brikama. We didn't start from Westfield. Just to give them that time to start from Sitting Corner or sit whatever corner to move. It took us 2 to 3 days before we got to Westfield. But even when you get to people, they'll still be there and waiting for you to come and get to them and tell them. Repeat everything again. You've been seeing it on social media, on TV. That they will wait for money to come and they'll get out of their shop. And then now they are listening to money. Why are you here? And money will keep start repeating and repeating. And it's going on and on from one step to the other. And it's not going to work. This is why we are pleading to every Gambian. We're pleading to everybody. If you know your shop is on the road, if you know your garage, if you know your tire man, if you know your jay muro nyebe, jay limon, jay banana, jay lomuti jay. It's not in a private property. It's on the road. It's not on a private property. Gene ko for balanyo exi. One, it will help. Dafa suñu liggéey bi daf ko yombal. Ñaareel daf ñoo gaawal liggéey bi ñu mën a gaaw because lii pour dëkk bi yëpp la. It's for the entire nation. The first phase is from here to Brikama, but also it's not only the tar road. It's not just the Manode. the Talibi right there. It's not just the Talibi. It's every road in this country, especially the Greater Banjul area.
Wow.
That's a big job.
It is.
It is indeed a big job. But the only way that we can achieve this is all Gambians to put their hands together and understand that it's for the future. The future of this Gambia is for the development aspiration of the Gambia, is for the health benefit of Gambians, for our children. You will be sad when you go to the so-called Parker. Is it called Parker or Park? I don't know how they call it. It's Park. I think the word Park is what they changed to Parker. In behind that Trikunda market. Parker, yes. You see how vehicles, yes, you see how the vehicles are, and what do we have in vehicles? Most of them are what? Toxic chemicals.
Weapons.
Weapons. And they are almost living with people, compounds around. Forget about the road. The road is not motorable at all, zero. So can you imagine what we are doing?
Yeah.
So for whatever reason this is happening, for me, regardless of the reason, whether it's political, whether it's OIC, whether it's tourism, what is happening has benefits beyond imagination, not just for our transportation system, but even for our health benefit. So
yes, Piaro, do you know the li ngeen def am na ñoo xam ne ñu ngi cee jàng, especially I will use myself as an example. Suma kër yaay bi ñun dañ laal fence bi laal naa tali bi, and it's wrong. So me saying this exercise, it was when before ne suma ñëwee this year without you knowing this dama ko génne because it's wrong. Because suñ dee génne di ñëw wala ma paak wala may duga di nga gis ne dañ dee xarante. Looking at the fence ci ñi nga xam ne ñooy suma neighbors bu ma ko gisee ma leen ne this is wrong. Wrong is wrong. Fence yëpp a war a mun a line up. Di nga gis ne comme li nga wax la, Gambians are taking the law into their own hands because nit ñaa ngi wane dëkk bi amul loi. So I'm so glad ne wax nga loolu, and people like me, you guys have inspired me, not only inspired but where it is part of my agenda ne su ma ñëwatee Gambia fence yaay bi dama ko daaneel ba ma gis exercise bi ma ne yeah, time is up. I don't want to be disgraced. I have to do it. I don't want the police pour ñu ñëw suma kër yaay këri Eva break na law bi. I don't want that, you know. So which is I am doing it. I'm calling people na leen nawet bi romb na fence bi needs to come down because from there suñ paree dañoo dugga si. But are you guys aware tam ne people are still stubborn? And baral bi nga wax ni so demee tey fele num turaati syndicat, people are still parking there. What for? We live in abroad, myself and Salah, and Gambians ñi dee gën a complain abroad lañ live, and those are the people causing this problem. We have to be realistic to ourselves. Majority of this problem yëpp Gambien ñi dëkk ci biti la. Man tey Piaro, if I suma bëggee jaay life is tough, duma mun a teg bunti jaay suma bunti kër. Waaye li nit ñi di wax mooy because I need to do it the right way.
Exactly.
I need to do it the right way. If I want to sell something, I need to approach the right authorities. Ma war a dem paperwork and all that. Waaye da nga gis ñu naan la dëkk bi dañ ñaaka dafa tough, you know, Gambians dañ ñaaka kii génnee teg mu extend. So fi nga waxee ne baralante bi yéen ndax how prepared are the police? Because Gambia dafa bëgg a baral ko. How prepared are the police physically, mentally, and financially in this, you know, this operation? How prepared is your team? I'm not you are prepared, but your team, if you are bold and others are not bold, it's different.
You see Mane how bold he is. You see Mane how strong he is.
Yes, I like Mane's boldness and kudos. I did give feedback to Mane because there's a sister of mine working for the NRA, and I sent her a message. I said, Mane is your boss. I don't need his number, but tell him to stick to his words and then not take tankam from protect. Why not sangutam best set munan budem ligesa bum because Gambians are wicked.
Yeah. It's very important. I'm happy that you came up with this question. It reminded me. I know people will say, I mean, because I've been seeing the comments on Facebook. Why would you always want to put the Majum house? Are you trying to justify? Yes, we are trying to justify. That's the truth. That if we could, the business of the head of state, if we could break it down, then which one? The business of the compound of the third most powerful person in this country, not the Speaker of the National Assembly. Yes, we are showing off that we are doing. So what this shows is, it shows how committed the government is. We are a government institution. The Gambia Police Force is a government institution. National Road Authority is a government institution. Fiscal planning is, and the rest. So the government is ready, are the one who instituted this, and they are ready to ensure this works. So be certain that as far as the task force is concerned, we have all the support to ensure that wherever, whichever compound, whichever structure, whichever businesses are on the road would be removed. And this assurance has been given to us. And the comments, everybody is seeing in the Gambia. Everyone is seeing what's happening. This is why we have the media, so that everybody can see what is actually happening. And we are not perfect. We are human beings. We equally are not perfect. We are not saying whatever we are doing is 100%. Right. We may speak to somebody who feels that the way we speak to the person is not appropriate. We are humans. We could have used better language, better word. That's possible. But what we are trying to do as much as possible is to ensure that we are closer to the percentage, the 100%, as far as the laws are concerned, as far as the way we interact with people. Because at the end of the day, it's not about seesaw. It's not about the shopkeeper. It's about what is right. But because the Gambian is so used to what is wrong is so normal. The kid family and so it's
wow, using poverty to cover up with the law.
The Samega, is it Samega cinema?
Samega Jani Hall.
Exactly. You would see that vehicle park selling vehicles. Is that place for selling vehicles? The Saro, we are in the Saro season. Hal, Ngen Kokol. Hal, is that the place to sell Hal? Si ko yon yep sel hal la si ko yon yep ay limon si ko yon bi yep ay pousse li la naka tula café Touba. Every junction we've packed and arrested and it's the same. You come back, you find them there.
So now you know what, you have arrested and you are tired, so why not then use the language Gambians can hear?
Exactly.
Why not use the language?
That's what we resorted to.
Wow, by sending them to prison or by giving them fines, and then this fine also, they're gonna doubt more. Is it going to the government coffers? Meeting like a police officer, this is not what also we want. If we are doing it right, let us all do it right. Moi, take them to court. Judiciary system be challenged, them. If they cannot pay, bill prison officers. Bill prisons. Let them send them to them. Prison is a correction center. When you have been corrected and you are not agreed to be corrected, they send you to it. Nobody wants it. I am a human being. I'm not anything on ever, but it has to be tough sometimes. It has to be tough for us to get it right as Gambians. We negotiated enough. We are not happy coming to the Gambia, seeing all this. We've been mourning about it. I myself, if the Gambians also see the brutality the Gambia police force is facing from the citizens, it's unacceptable. I was in the Gambia when I saw the traffic police trying to stop people, and people are using rude languages, foul languages on them. Going to the airport, you have been stopped. Stop. I am in the UK. If I am being stopped or pulled over by a police officer, I comply. Who am I not to comply in my country? Who am I not to? I'm going to the airport. Security reason. So if anything goes wrong, where is the state security? I'm not trying to defend the police officers, but I think also you guys should use your force, because people are still going there. And then if they court, check them. Don't have mercy. If they don't want to have mercy, don't have mercy. Life is tough. I want to sell something. Yeah, I want to sell something.
You have to understand one thing. Let me say.
They're gonna do it again, Sisawa.
You have to understand one thing.
If you guys have to be tough. And we are loving your toughness. We are loving the police force, their toughness, and the military, their toughness.
Yeah.
If you want to use it as a politic, use it. Whoever want to use it, Gambia is ours, as you said. Whoever president, if Adama Barrow is there, one day he will leave. Jammeh has left. Cesar, you are using the Gambia police force. You are working for the Gambia police force. Gambia will stay, and Gambia belongs to us all. So no, we are happy. We want to see Gambia monized. I'm not even going to give you an example of Ghana or Nigeria, but just go to Senegal. Ban Senegalais, Gambia, moy dem Senegal, mutahaw mutiye pus muy jaay. Sen police feka. They don't negotiate. I have a conflict with the Senegalese police, and they are right, and they were doing it right. Let us allow our state securities to also do their job right. Why, man? This is my question. How prepared are you, your team? You are prepared, but the team on the ground, mentally, physically, and then also financially.
Yes, we are. We are as a task force. We are ready. We are ready, and we are up to the task. One thing I also want to put here is this: we have our responsibility. We have a responsibility, and when we arrest, because that was that was what happened. When we realized people are really going back and it's not maslahadi, violent fee is not going to solve it, we arrest them. And when we arrest, we prosecute them, meaning we take them to court. But at the end of the day, that's where we stop. The decision of finding how much it is, whether they're going to be whatever, it's the decision of the court now. So we equally have to understand, and all Gambians equally have to understand that the police force is not levying fine on anybody. The police force is not sentencing anybody. The responsibility of the police force is to arrest the criminal or to arrest the offender. And when the person is being arrested, the person would be handed over to be prosecuted by a prosecuting officer, either a police officer or by a lawyer. Okay, in cases like this, by a police officer. And that's where we go to court and we tell the court that this is what happened. Now the court is going to decide what to do. So that's not up to us. Gambians should also know that. It's not us.
Wow, I'm glad ne leral nga fofu because nga diga ñu ne suñ ko fayé police ñoko dugal sen poste.
You charging Ken?
What about the livestock tower? Kan mo wañi fees bi? It was 5,000 for the livestock. Borom naki. And after it's 2,500.
Because all this, they don't complain, but they can put 5,000 say heavy, but they cannot put it in the in the government.
Every nut, we have nut is about 51 nuts. Nut as we speak, about 20. Someone may remember, about 20 are already being given to their rightful owners. And for each nut, the owner pays $5,000. For each nut, the owner pays $5,000. If as of today, there has been conflict, there have been issues around this, but what became final is 5,000 per nut. So 10 nut, 10 times 5 is 50, that's 50,000. So
right, government legi ñu rich kon yow nak borom nagi legi ñu baye dof dof la wow. So and myself, when I came to the Gambia, I did a live by attacking the Gambia police and the Gambia government because it is so undone. You know, la nagi may len ne li motama like ay jebe ñu kon ray nako be yobu ko kanila ñu pebe sup ko. Wa you know, ñu la nagi do ko laal boromam patati, everyone was scared. And then where's the government bi ñew nañ legi pour gëné lolu, and it can cause serious accident. Mun nga drive yaangi gis traffic bangi slow nak yaangi ñu ngi melni sala njay jeeg buy do wala jeeg bu biir be dis nan ni ci ko tali bi nak di len def lu len ne melni rew mi amut lu wa. So I'm so glad ne, you know, we have you on board. So man, this is my question, and then also comme li ma len wax la rek, keep it up. It's going to be tough, as I said to my colleague, but hey, keep your heads up. So lena def lo xamne is you guys are in the right move, doing it right for the Gambians. Just why not do not trust anybody. Kulen mayati ataya sa banglen. Gambia la de. Deng sa horde. Ni mo yo bloody la ikana bloody ya. Because Gambia ibuka mo trust sila. You know, because if they cannot have you, they will use mystic on you. And that's Gambia. And then mun nañ leena tek ben place. And mo nek ñi nga xamne dañ bañ deka bi dem. So lo rek la na ataya loxo sa bu ko jox ni. Don't trust anybody. You focus and do your job. You know, we are happy. Majority of the Gambians are happy because Gambia is dirty. Gambia dafa tilim, Gambia is congested, and whoever is a Gambian or is a true patriotic citizen, nga ewo bir Gambia nga gis lolu, you won't be happy at all. We want Gambia to be like America. We want Gambia to be like England. You know, attitude change has to be implemented. It has to. Salaman filale na tago kon ma bay piaru rek mu tech, then we know that analysis.
Before you go, I just have a final question. Because I've been watching some of the videos, and what would you say? Because the family, there were few ñoo xamne they said they have everything done, Saint Kerry amna fu nekk, but they believe that they have all their documentation from the physical planning and all that. So would you say that that's an ignorance from borom Kirby, or is it a mistake from physical planning, or is it not yet? If you guys have to touch that areas, would you guys consider compensating those who are legally there? I mean, I know the main ones supersede everything, but if the mistake of some institution like the physical planning, like NRA, like you see them giving billboards to people, and you are the same task force who are coming to take those off. What would you say to those people? Are you guys going to be easy on them, compensate them, or is it like it's just illegal, it has to be out? What would you say with that finally? And then that's it from me.
Yes, the quick answer is we are going to remove everything finally. Everything. And as far as I know, we are not compensating anybody. That is the task force. We are given a responsibility. Beyond that, if you feel that's if you feel that your rights have been violated, you know where to go. It's as simple as that. But what we are doing is our task as the task force is to ensure anybody ko xamne ci ko yoon bi la nek dañ ko gëné. Even so you bring documents, you have is going to prove that as long as it is on the road, no ko xamne yo no amé paper bobu nonu is a different story. But what we are saying is as long as yang ci biir yoon bi te yoon bi nga laal yoon bi dañ ko gëné. That's the instruction, and that's what we've been doing. So if you feel like, for example, 28 we are taken to court. After that 28, 17 they are guilty. The 11 said they are not guilty. So they take up that. That's at that level. Why they are not guilty and all that, that's a different story. They take up that with the state. We don't have any issue with that. What issue we have is we are going with the NRA, we are going with physical planning, and they will be on the ground. When physical planning says that this person's compound or property is on the road, it needs to be removed, we remove. What we remove is because there are people who will remove, but the essence of the police there is to ensure that is removed. This is why I'm saying we remove, to ensure that it's removed. The people there, if it requires caterpillars, if it requires those heavy machines to remove, they'll be brought in to remove. But what also you see happening is there are a bit confusion. You know, more than you hamne siko yonbi sutta bahla. You want to send veranda, send cap or whatever you can remove. The issue is we want unify. When we are building, you went to physical planning, just in the plan, and it's not within the plan. It's not naturally on the building. It's an added artifacts on the building. You can remove everything so that we have that uniformity. So a standard way of putting those things for the rains, for the shades, and all that. Then that can be. But for this operation, so basically, I think that's your answer.
Okay, I think we've heard it all. Any final say for the Gambian people? Is there anything that you want them to know?
Yes, jërëjëf ñun saa yu nekk dañ ko dee wax. The final thing is ne ñu xam ne dëkk bi ñun ñoo ko moom te maa ngi ñaan mag yi suñ kilifa yi ne ñu jàppale ñu si ndaw ñi te ndaw ñi suñoo wax fii nii it's not just about the operation but it's about the security of this country. We are the Gambia Police Force. We ensure that lépp loo xam ne dafa is a problem si biir dëkk bi because the youth we know our people who are on operation. You know, we have what we call joint operation every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We also know we have the anti-crime and we have the PIU who are on patrol every day. They are teenagers, they are into drugs, they are stealing and all that. They are breaking people's house and all that. So I'm not sort of for concentrate on what is important for them and for this country. And what is important for them and this country is for them to concentrate on their education, whether it's vocational, whether it's the normal education system. Let them concentrate because this country, but it's so disheartening. Operation like we had the first week or the first day. The first day we are on this operation, can you imagine? We're talking to somebody who owns a shop or whatever it is called. And just one. That's the first confrontation we had. And people are telling they are using power. Now you know did Sani I hear and all what's not.
Based on what? Based on what reason then go based?
It's as simple as that. No, I mean it's as simple as that.
No, you get dog am PRO in the Gambia nak da ngay virgule bam neex dama ba pare xam nga luma neex ci PRO dafa jongo ma ci goor dafa handsome ana single ladies yi tida andi crow
mané
waye madame xalé jigen ñu ko madame PRO gaay dinañ sol jean dinañ sol changal bañal ignore len su lool do mëna def liggéey
madame mum fa madame mu ci kër gi
xalé yi dañoo def ci papa kankang. You know, PRO la soxla ma waxa mom rek mu answer ma so be prepared why you know jokes aside ñu bayla nga continue.
Yeah. So basically that's what we are asking for the youth. Let them concentrate because they can be ñom ñoko amé elek they are the future. We are going to hand over the baton of leadership and everything to them and suñ ko starté légui there is no way they can be able to do it when it is time for them to do it. That is very important, and also generally to business people of this country. Te man li nga wax ni du yow rek de ever man suma booba dama jàng trop si operation bii nii maa ngi toog maa ngi xalaat suma kër maa ngi doon xalaat ay bitik ak yoon but am imagine suma néegoo si seen bitik nu ñu mel si kaw yoon bi and all that. So this is a learning point for everybody. xam naa ne nag du ñaaka info we say okay ñi ñoo defoon lii loolu moo tax lii happen, but that's not going to solve the problem. The only thing that is going to solve the problem is we have a solution. The solution si lu bari nu moo ñëw, we have an immediate solution, a short-term solution, medium, mid-term, and long-term. And the feasible one right now, the immediate one, is to ensure ñu génne lii yëpp si yoon bi. Suñ génne loolu yëpp si yoon bi su boobaa we can look into the mid-term plan and set naka la. I'm so hopeful because of recent we've been having a lot of cooperation along the road. mooy ne ñu bari gis nañ ñun boori Talending boori Lamin balaa ñoo egsi foofu noonu ñu bari ñoo xam ne am nañ jom, ñoo xam ne xam nañ lu ñoo def, ñoo xam ne dëgg-dëgg. xam nañ ne
mu ne ñu am jomi waaye. Ngaye ko kulu ko lol doron be siri ngaye ko muy lafta xaraas be lol doron be siri al side ikana.
It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. There are women, there are people selling. I mean, na alfa lam ñindi be silo kay be wax lo lambe danila. Mba mañol dol mu mañol lete dol mu mañol kela mu so lemba itara silo kan. Adult what I tell my people is just advise them, let them, we cannot arrest them. We respect them for their age, we respect them, but it's the wrong place. Sometimes you are doing the right thing, but there are rules and regulations in this country. So momo me angola alpha besilokan. Me role mpa bila tianin koma wa Afrika tianin koma len tola karamol jo anin la lodge ngawolon ne silokan suto lampo kata malatin abe tianin abe lampo kora tianin koma wa fela wala be lemuno wa fela. Yeah, understand, but it's also risky because abe silole kan anything is possible. Sukura jabang junction menketa ji musol lem ibe muno wa Afrika ibe subol le wa Afrika ni kamino jani ka wa fi. But mudo ka bonam burfut la silo muta kata men dole airport. Unfortunately Mr. Controller and Mr. Controller lost the control of the vehicle, and the vehicle somersaulted and fell onto those people. They died. One died.
Do you know how many people blame the government for that and the police?
Come on. Yes, by default, the government is responsible for the state. I know people will always do that, but it's people's personal responsibility for their personal safety. That is what is important. Your safety first. That is important, and we have to equally talk about that. The government has a collective responsibility, yes, primarily to ensure that this country is safe, but it's your personal responsibility, you and I and everybody, that wherever I'm going to have my business, wherever I'm going to be, to ensure that I am safe. And like you said, the program is about end, so I will just conclude. If you allow me to talk, I'm a talkative. I will talk here till tomorrow. No. I appreciate the fact that I'm being invited to this, and you've mentioned that there will be more opportunity to ensure that we have another opportunity where we could talk more on matters of relevant to national development. And please, I'm telling you, and I'm going to say that the Gambia Police Force has changed. The Gambia Police Force has changed. Whether people agree or people don't agree, there are reforms going on. The Office of the Inspector General of Police, Abdullah Sanyang, has emphasized this and has re-emphasized this, notably in his inaugural speech at the Serakunda police station when they are. And there are plans in place. One of the plans is to also have under the mobile traffic unit what we call patrol unit. You people are in the West, you know what patrol units are. Meaning you have police officers on vehicles or motorcycles going around the streets or the road to ensure that people are in compliance with the traffic regulations. Vehicles don't park where they're supposed not to park. People don't sit where they're supposed not to sit, to ensure. So this is important, and this is also going to contribute towards measures to ensure that we are doing right now continues. But the immediate plan is every region that we finish, like when we finish KMC, because KMC is not yet finished, but when we finish KMC, we are transferring the responsibility of maintaining this to the regional command of KMC. And that goes for West Coast region, and that goes for all other regions until we are able to have a tangible system. But also, the system is by the people. That's for all Gambians, whether police officers, whether non-police officers, civilians, everybody. It's everybody's responsibility. And the Gambian is very difficult for the Gambian to report an issue, for the Gambian to report a problem. because you don't want to be a witness, you don't want to give a statement, you don't want to go to court and say that, yes, I see this happening. He did that, he didn't do that. Because maybe it's a brother, maybe it's a sister, maybe it's an auntie, maybe it's an uncle. You don't want to contribute to downfall of that person or a neighbor. You call it downfall. It's not a downfall. It's your contribution to your nationalism, to your nation, to your people, and also to see that this country is safe for everybody, including yourself. Thank you.
The country is safe. Foofu lañ laa téye tuuti rek mooy suñ fi jógee from this long term plans yi ndax mun nañoo gis ne crime will be down in the Gambia, because the amount of crime rate going on in the Gambia among the youths dafa high torop. Am na ñu bari ñuy wax ne sax bala ngeen doon try this operation ngeen ko doon def foog leen ne operation boobu ngeen waroon a def, you know, because Gambia people bi maanaam rayante bi bari na, jamante bi bari na si youth si drugs si bari na ñi xale yi di use, ndax du foofu ngeen waroon a njëkkee si operation before ngeen a def this road operations. That's my last question. Mala laaja dara.
Thank you. I think loolu ñu ngi si koam, ñu ngi si taxaw bu baax a baax. Personally, I went to our operations department to actually ask this. I said, for me, it's like crime is in the increase. People are dying and all that. No. Yes, it's recently you are part of the management. You are getting information, all this information now. But if you look at the trend, what is happening is, I think, the reporting of crime more increase.
More increase.
More increase. The public and everybody is getting to hear everything, because with respect to technology, with respect to you journalists, because you are everywhere. Every second something tell nga diga ko fat. So this is what is happening. So, but in reality, there has not been any increment. Why? What has increased is the reporting of those crimes. But again, we are not taking that for granted. This is why we have instituted what we call joint security patrol. That every weekend, because weekend will target. Not only target weekend, because ñu bari ci ñun dañoo liggéey, ñu bari ci ñun dañoo def business. So swing time enjoyment mooy ban mooy weekend bi. So the criminals and all that are going to use that opportunity weekend pour mëna dem Tamala, pour mëna dem all the Senegambia areas for xam ne nit ñi foofu lañ dem war a dem enjoy seen boppa, trapping them. Trying to steal from them, trying to do whatever they, because when most, and also we have also seen, actually what I have seen is a number of young people are involved in this so-called drug abuse. The time man lima xamone moy tay ñamo ndol ko lelo, that's what we knew. But nowadays I hear about Kus, I hear about Gina Bass, I hear about Yohamne, and Gina Bass is a kind of a drug. Why they call it Gina Bass? They said it's when you take Gina Bass, when you take Kus, you behave like an athlete. You are very agile. You run. You keep running and all that. The entire day, the entire night. So what we are trying to say is, most time when you take these drugs, you are not in control of yourself. Exactly. And we have seen so many drug-induced psychosis in this country, and all of these things are issues that affect the folks, the youth of population. And those are our future. Those are the people that we are going to, who are going to ensure that this country is safe. So su nekkee ñu noonu si ñu bari si ñooñu noonu li ma dee wax nit ñi mooy ne Gambia dafa changé te nit ñi dañ koo understand ne this maslaha syndrome ne Gambian bi naturally is a peaceful person. Gambian bi naturally bugut defante. Gambian naturally bugut hulo and all that. Lord def mu ne la bàyyee ko yàlla anin ala bula dor. Allah is not going to come in this dunya and solve our problems for us. Allah is not going to do that. Allah has given us the brain. Allah has given us the hands and everything to think how to solve our problems. This is why one of the components of the Gambia Police Force of recent is the community policing component, which you talked about in the beginning. I didn't have the opportunity to respond because I forgot, it skipped my mind. But the policing component, the community policing component of the Gambia Police Force of recent is structured in such a way that each community in this country, from what we call the village development, we have village VDC, village development committee, village development committee should have within them what we call security committee, meaning within every village we have, within the village development committee that comprises of elders and youth of that community, have people who are responsible for security issues. They communicate, they work hand in hand with the police officers of those regions or those stations or the closest station, so that when issues happen, the police officers, is just easy to get to those people to be able to give them information, because police officers, what they deal with is information. Whatever we do is based on the information we receive, and we act based on those information. And one way to ensure that our communities are safe is to institute this, and for them to willingly be able to work with us and tell us what their issues are at community level. These are cattle rustling moo fi nekka, theft moo fi nekka, youths into drugs. So we know what component, what unit of the Gambia Police Force would be dispatched in those areas to ensure ban time la, falling day campe and stuff like that. I bailing day saga and stuff like that. So this is important, and this is what is happening. So this is why I'm saying the Gambia Police Force has changed, and we are doing everything possible to ensure that we serve the people. You are our customers. So
but how ready? But PRO, how ready is the police? Because if they are on the budget as well, can they do all this? Because it takes money for all these things to be done. And then we all are aware that the Gambia Police Force budget is being squeezed out.
This is where you come in. This is where the Gambians come in. This is where, because you employ us to serve you. So if you don't give us enough, how can we serve you? This is where
what do you mean? What do you mean if we don't give you enough? Because the budget has to be there. You know.
What I'm trying to say is this: you employ.
Minister of Defense got the budget.
You voted for people in Parliament.
Yeah.
You voted for people in Parliament, and people in Parliament are the very people who are going to do this. They are the very people responsible for approving and disapproving whatever application is done or is requested. And also, more importantly, even the citizens themselves can talk to their Parliament members to also tell the government altogether, come up with systems to ensure that they can support the police with whatever the police needs. It only doesn't have to be just the police has to come with plans and all that. But you know what you are feeling. You know what is required, how you can support the police. Stakeholders are doing it. We have stakeholders in the country. You have the UN systems in the country. You have what we call GIZ. We have the EU and the likes who are sponsoring, technically supporting the Gambia Police Force in terms of intellectual resources, training them, retraining them, focusing them to understand. When we talk about democratic policing, what do we mean? When we say policing itself, why policing? Who are you policing? This is happening. Training upon training to ensure, because training, what it does is mindset change, because that's the only way that we can learn. We wouldn't say, okay, these people, all the Gambia Police Force was here when we have the president. So he used them and this, so we are going to remove every police officer who was employed during that period and we bring new ones. It doesn't make sense. What makes sense is to reorient the police force, and that is happening to ensure that the police force is here to serve the people, the interests of the people, and also the people to understand that they are the very people who ask the police to do what they needed to do to ensure there is security here. And whenever we talk, wherever I go on this platform, they were talking to me about abuses, police abuses, abuse of power, the tear gas, the batting and all that. I don't think this is a problem, because that only happens when there is hostile. There is hostile mob or whatsoever is when all of this thing happen. So the best thing is, let's work towards ensuring this does not happen.
Okay, thank you. ñu may ko mu dem naa ne corona ñu jaajëfal ko bu baax Sarah, thank you very much for your time, and Gambians are very impressed.
Thank you so much. I think you've done well. We've kept you here. Today is Sunday.
Sarah, you think he did well? You think?
No. I mean, we can ask the viewers. I don't know about the viewers. They will tell that. But just finally, before you go, Piero, would you guys consider in future having more road signs so that people will know, at least to help them with their communication, like just to improve on our road marking? Is that in your pipeline to deal with? And finally, why is Banjul not part of your operation?
Remind me if I forget this final one, but we had this discussion. We had this discussion with stakeholders. The National Road Authority is responsible for this. The National Road Authority.
Yeah.
Managed people are responsible for this. They are responsible for the roads. But the complaint has been this. You see, Gambia is very funny. Honestly, it's very funny. The complaint has been this. Look, this OIC that is being built right now, when it finishes, they are going to put everything that is required, signboards and all that. But what they said happened? You go to this from this road from, let's say, Mandinaring going to Soma and all the roads, people will go there and cut off. They will cut off the signboard because the signboards are made up of aluminium. And aluminium, our Kale roll, our Koja roll, our Sunkalamol, our sauces, when they live in a sauce, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I guess you understand what I'm trying to say. This they go and cut it. They come to use it for that. Or you cut you them jaiko. These are Gambians doing this. Can you imagine? So
why fofu lo ne mo ko loi bi fofu la wara metti suñu len jappé ñu tek leen.
Lolu my problem bi nak kan ngay jappa nak because the whole Gambia kan moy report. You see somebody is your brother, is your auntie, is your in-law, is your mak, is your raka, is your neighbor, like you said. You don't want people to say Karle Kari report. This is the issue here. And it only goes back to show, the type of people here in this country. I am hopeful with what is happening of recent. I'm hopeful. During this operation, we had received so many calls telling us that PRO, you are from this end and people are back there. You are from this end, people are back there. And that is promising. Wallahi, that is promising because it means the Gambian attitude is changing. And that's what we've been advocating for. That we also contribute towards the development of the country. And it's very simple. Maybe just $2 a call. $2 a lot. Well, it's not $2. I have seen somebody here who is not a familiar person in this swing coin bifini. Why it doesn't mean that crime like that, but you suspect the person. Call the police. The police come. You have mom, and all that. The police has the right to ask the person. Maybe also is it your business? Why would you ask me? But the police can. And the misconception, another misconception, I'm very sorry, I'm bringing this up. We had issues with people.
Bring it up. We had this is what we want.
We had issues with people, and they need to understand that. Buma video, camera. We are going with journalists. They are doing their job. And journalists, Ben journalists do see ken, Ben journalists do see property ken, journalists be from there how. Because you do as a property can. Now you are in the public space. Bulen camera. And that becomes the issue now. Forget about the issue. Can you imagine? Forget about the entire issue. It happened in several places. I don't need to mention that. And it's like they even thought it's their right that before they can be whatever they call, they have permission has to be sought from them before they can be video or they can be whatever they call it. If you don't want to be videoed or you don't want to be photoed, go into your privacy. Nobody will come to your house, Nobody will come into your compound. Because then that is a trespass into your compound and do whatever you don't want them to do. And I think this is important going forward because we are going, and this is going to be intense for people to understand this so that we don't have issues with our cameramen, so that we don't have issues with our people on the ground. For Banjul, coming to the question, Banjul, is the entire country. Usually it would start from Brikama, come to Banjul. But because when we had the meeting about, like you said, we are for the first week, let's start from Steam Corner and see how it goes so that the people can be aware. We understand that Brikama is one of the most densely populated environment in this country. Having to jump on them immediately is going to be a bit chaotic. So at least we start from here, from Steam Corner, then we can, before we get there, then they will be at least fully informed. But Banjul is part of it, it's the entire country. We are starting from Banjul to Brikama, that's the first phase. And that is not only the tar road, but all the roads. We are going to go through the other side. What is the name of the other side? Where Costa Road beyond? I don't know the name. Madin Hardin, something Madin Hardin. I don't know the name, but it's something Madin Hardin way. We are going to go there. We are going to go to from Westfield. We are at Sukuta.
Is it the Mandinari Highway?
No, it's the where you have the from Steam Corner going to Senegambia. From Steam Corner going to Senegambia, up to Brusubi Table.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to go there. The vehicles, people are selling vehicles there. People are parking vehicles on the road.
Highway, it's called.
On the highway.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we are going to go all main highways in this country. So everybody should know that. Okay, Mumford and Tema, like X and win fee. So you don't have to do the right thing. That's what I'm trying to get at. X and win fee. As much as you have your sabitic B or some property from Neka, it's not you within your property, it's outside, it's on the public space. Fehel na gene ko fa balani fula fa fega. Gis na ñoo xamne ay lifin lañ dé jaay. Sibo, naka lañ wone sibo? Timba ah ak ñu dé jaay
Bantoro.
ñu dé jaay yoy nonu ak ñu dé jaay I don't know. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is
Barina mo.
wow,
Barina, it's a lot on the highway.
So ñooñu yëpp nañ fexe ñu génnee loolu noonu loo xam ne dañ dee jaay ay mata laa bëggoon a wax si olof. dañ dee jaay mata si kaw yoon da nga gis ñoo xam ne ñu ngi riimee mata yi si kaw yoon ñooñu yëpp nañ génnee mata yi ñu utal leen store fu mu mun a utal leen store suñu amee space ñu génnee ko da nga gis koo xam ne pukus bu ndaw la am is less than 1 meter 1.5 meter mu bugg a feesal loolu tepp mu génnee bagage si biir it's not possible, it's not gonna fit there. What you have does not fit the capacity you have, and you don't léegi looy def mooy nga génne ko si kaw yooni nit ñi at the end of the day sooy close nga pack ko yëpp si biir mu fekk. So this is an issue, and we've been seeing all of these things happening. Then we are pleading with everybody. We are starting tomorrow. We are continuing from where we stopped. We will continue doing this work until we finish what we're supposed to do.
Wa PRO si ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi wax ne ñeneen ñi ñu ngi def like a decent living wax nga ko our parents majority of us dañ jaay gerte you know ye wala karandi mola. If you are a student of Nusrat High School, you have seen a lot of parents sitting down outside the Nusrat High School. This Theo you are mentioning, and when you guys were having this meeting, considering these people as them to move them into the stadium or to move them to the Latrikunda Park and put them there. Little bokuton send meetings but don't am this before doing the move.
Yes, we got to understand
like a backup plan,
No, because we got to understand that firstly, they should not be in that place. Secondly, there are space within the market space. For how many people in what I jai? KMC confirm na ko. Si KMC fini. Only one particular. One market la is almost Latrikunda la and Serekunda. But even Serekunda is confirmed that CB massive si boka. Because CB massive garas mo fa nekon. Garas bi dañ fi hebe garas bi gëna fofu non. You can ko defar, but that space is more or less useless because most of them would use it for a storage, for a store. So seen bagage is a bit linked to no expert junction you know. So what they are telling us is that there is space. Space move for nini nañ dem ci biir marché bi ñuy jënd. Suñ démé ci biir marché bi rek nit ñi nañ fa fekka. But the moment because they are coming onto the road, then everybody kuy romb rek ci road bi la mo am mu jënd. Su kenn su fa toogee tey kenn ñëw mu jënd yow yaa ngi ci biir yaa ngi gis kooku noonu yow tamit ëllëg da ngaa ñëw toog ci booram kenn tamit ñëw di follow indi di follow moo tax ñu ngi wax képp koo xam ne mu ngi ci kaw yoon bi na dem ci biir marché bi. And this is what is going to help us to ensure ne liggéey bii nii mu mun a sustain. Yes.
Thank you very much, Piero.
Thank you, Piero. Sala ñu bàyyi ko ñu def suñu analysis message nga wàcce ko.
Yeah, I think
ñu jaajëfal ko si time am bu mu jël.
Thank you so much. We appreciate.
Sala ñu bàyyi la nga
Yeah.
ñu bàyyi la nga wàcce ko su ko defee rek taay na Sala ma bàyyi rek waaye ñu defaraat kaddu yi Abdoulaye Sugar Jallow you are a Gambian wax dëgg ne yàlla lu Piero wax la nañu yar kaddu yi rek yar teggin ak discipline moom la ñu soxla ñun Voice Out Digital jógee ko ci ñun ñi nga xam ne crew members lañ wala staff members yi jëlemale ko ci képp koo xam ne Gambien la kuy seetaan li ma daan wax rek lay wax yar ak teggin lum la joxut ñàkk yar ak parax-paraxe mënut la koo jox ndànk ci bari nag dina am problème ñoo tax Gambia demut parce que nag ñun ñu ci bi am na yenn wante duñu ko ekkati jëmale ko ci officers yi nekk ci biti lana tax ñu bëgg a jël mel sécurité yi nga xamante ne ñoom ñoo yore suñu wàllum sécurité naam dina métti lu ñuy wax la kon sala rek waaye nañ ko teg ci yar teggin ak discipline bu mat sëkk ñuy rafetlu nag jàmbaar bi nga xam ne mu ngi ci PRO jànga bi ci PRO ak dalam bi ci PRO mi nga xamante ne wax dëgg ne yàlla jël na time am because dafa busy mu ñëw di waxtaan ak askan bi ñu ngi koo jaajëfal bu baax a baax Sala mënoon nga koo call mu ne la awma time wala ne la ma ne watch the video wala we have our own platforms we'll communicate waaye defut loolu génn si na pour leeral nag li nga xamante xeli Gambien si dina métti nag te dina tof waaye ceeñ noonu la mel Sala kon ma bàyyi la rek su ko defee nga rapport tuuti rek amoon nañ gan bi waroon na am suñu ne di Diaspora Lounge rek ñi nekk ci biti li leen naxari moom lañ dee gën a bëgg a waxtaanal waaye li nekk na loo xamante ne issue boo xam ne la state issues la Gambien si ñu ngi ko discuss naxari na ñu bari ku nekk sa family member mu fa am nañ fa bitit we understand the pain kon rek su ko defee ñu move on Sala den su ko defee rek yow nga ñëw den ñu ñëw teg wax di fa ne yàlla ëllëg loolu di la xale itam ñu mun leen a prepare gars yi dañoo dem school te mu ngi bëgg a guddi musa itam dafa war a reerangul ba tey te damay jël axam.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. I think we had Pokemon and then again is a PROV. But I think that it's a good idea. We have Tida on board because more money can see ground vitamin. Just to wrap up on this issue, I think we have spoken enough about it. Today Munyo call Tida, Munyo Wahnyo if she has any observation on the ground pertaining this issue before you move on to the next one, because amuñ time, and I think because of the platform, we had someone who wanted to tell their story. At least to call on WhatsApp and know what his story is, and then so we can wrap up because for that time we them not ever.
Them na mom is 2111 in the UK and then in the Gambia as well, and then America rek la teel a good la guddee good ñoom ñu ngi doog a eew.
Wow, so léegi nga call Tida wala ma call ko?
No callal Tida yow su ko defee rek ñam man ma ekati ci li nga wax ci li PRO wax foog naa ne bala laata Tida di dugga si foog naa ne is tough comme ni ma ko waxee la rek waaye comme ni ma wax la change is not easy te Gambia ñun ñëpp wax nañ ko tamit wax nañ ko Gambia dafa tilim Gambia dafa ñaaw yow mi nekk ci biti di criticize ñoom sax bugguloo Gambia boobu if you are a true patriotic citizen man si suma jëmi boppam man I welcome this honestly. This operation, I am in full support of it as a citizen of the Republic of the Gambia. I am in full support of it, honestly. You know, ñu bàyyi leen xel rek ñoom itamit am nañ loopholes doomi aadama lañ waaye ñu communicate ak ñoom they are not our enemies. Police officers they are not our enemies. ñu ngi try di daw suñ gannaaw ñun mi nekk ci biti comme ni ma ko waxee la man tey Eva maa ngi bëgg a jaay suma bunti kër nii suma salary is not enough. I want to do something to bring me an income. Boo xamante ne du ma rely on 100% on the Gambian people because Gambians don't support Gambians doing business. Bëgg naa génn suma bëgg toog jaay comme Africa but I can't. su ma ko fa defee ñii dañ masla sax waaye ñooñu duñ masla dégg nañ ñu bari PRO wax na ko Sala dañ ñëw sax mu ne ñu ko coxat di ko coxat dañ war a daaneel su ñëwee bi di ko coxat ngir yàlla rek daaneel ko mu dem. It will not be nice Gambian. It is hard but lu ñoo def loolu la Gambian yi mun a déggal let them do it. parce que nag Gambien yi wax nañ lu nekk wax ji bari na joxuñ ñu respect communicate tuñ ak ñun and you had PRO September bi sax gaay jógee nañ ñu wax you know letters have been out radio station programs Gambien yi duñ dee déglu Sala duñ dee déglu programmes ba pare jël buñ ko woon serious ñoom def leen beta because da nga dégg ñu ne la police bu ñu sonal bu ñu géteen duñ ñu waxi kese la ñii liggéey wuñ dimbale wuñ kuy liggéey we understand ñooñu di jaay gerte di dem képp kuy jaay gerte di dem sax dang la war a tax KMC war nañ si am xaalis war nañ juuti war ngaa génnee $10 wala $5 sax nga jënd ticket bi loolu su dee mu ngay dem si coffre si KMC bi ñun ñëpp la moo njëriñ su batee si Gambien si ñun ñëpp la moo njëriñ police yu ñoo wax ne amuñ véhicule loolu $5 yu ñoo fay noonu dina dimbale police ñu mun a am motocycle dina dimbale police ñu mun a am véhicule dina dimbale police ñu mun a am walking shoes dina dimbale police ñu mun a am nga ngi dem ñu ne di market Sala is not full waaye tey bitik yi soo demee sax si marché bi wan weer jo dangaa dégg jaaykat yi ñoo daw ñëw si mbedd bi marché Serekunda soo fa dee drive man foofu laa passé suma first drive in la sene di Gambie bu ma fa rombee ma romba ak moto bi driver bi mu ne ma ne yow eewu rek dawal yow yaa drive biir marché Serekunda we need to understand that yow moto bi yaa dee daw nit ñi sax yow moto yi ñoo dee daw nit ñi nga gis police yi respect guñ kuy dox wala police officer la oyo state uniform la solo respect guñ ko respect guñ private security respect guñ state security Sala ñu ñëw dox sa kaw loolu ñu leen fa doon bàyyi for a long time gars ñu ñëw ñu communiquer ñu ko defee ak yéen ci njëkk yar ak teegin during Jammeh Yaya Jammeh dafa wax benn dar ko rek ñëppay génn foofu but government bi ñëw nañ government ñun ñooy di government police officer bi si saawo ñëw na toog na Gambian mu ngi doon liggéey MRC mu sacrifice yooyu yëpp he is a graduate lan la ko police bi di defal sax moom kay bëgg a réewam waaye lan la ko police bi di jox ak lan la ko police bi di def lan la ko police bi di def ak lan la ko police bi di jox we all know in MRC ne dañ dee fay an attractive salary mu bàyyi loolu yëpp mu ñëw dégg ngeen ko human being la Sala am na xol nit la nit ñi di ko ñaan ndigma you know alkana ñinge al sabari you know Gambia ñu bëgg a ñaan mairie di seen musóor duñ am development it's not that Sisao is a horrible man no he is not we need to understand that Sala dafa am benn nit ku ñuul black la common but he is a British black xëy na parents am ñu nekk Jamaican or African I don't know because how ma bu just went to Iceland génna maa ngi daw parking ticket ma daw génna jënda benn li nga xam ne chips bi only is a £1 chip Sala you don't know how much I end up paying £30 ticket bés boobu laa géej dem Ireland loo xam ne £1 la ma doon ma end up pay £30 £1 pour chips bi ticket biñ ma fine bi ko ma ticket dama daw rek ma ne duñ ma gis dama daw rek dugg a génna ndaw ke daw dugg a génna boobu ñu fine ma dama dem ma fekk ticket ma gis ko ma dem ma ne kii de black la xaaral ma dem comme ñun africain rek ma nuyu ko saa ñu wax after ma ne ko I am so sorry gis nga time mu ma fi am bariwul ya ma gis on na ma ne yaa ma doon monitor mu ne ma it has nothing to do with me nii la ma ko it has nothing to do with me and that's right ma negotiate mu ne ma don't even go there mu ngi am body cam ma gis suma wax bi mu ngi dem mu ne ñu ngi la record li nga wax ni yëpp and it can be used against you in court of law and I step back si lu nga xam ne £1 la mu cost ma £31 sala. You know, and ignorance of a law is not an excuse. We totally understand that our brothers, our sisters, they're trying to make means, but how many in a ñen ñoo see benefit tiyo bi ñoo jaay ñaata si suñu yaay pat ni di dem jaay am si $100 a day sax di wortali bi di toog si biti nit ñi waaye we to government di government tamit li ñu waroon a mun a def mooy xëy na ñu jël Serekunda ISPAC boobu noonu is under KMC ñu dugal leen fa waaye nii sax duñ fa toog sala suñu leen dafa toog da ngaa dégg hey client bu kana jàng mool bu kan dejee man nit ñi duñ ma dee gis lii la ñoo wax kon nag ba kañ living loolu su nekkoon ne backup there should always be a backup plan always waaye since ba tey sax loolu su nekkoon backup plan bi wallahi lal azim knowing Gambian and me being a Gambian duñ fa doon toog da ngaa dégg ñu ne la yàlla xaaral ma dem foofu noonu ba kañ we have a PRO who love the Gambia and the Gambian people so they have to be brutal for Kenyan citizens to understand. And also saying this uniform men, lima de wala Gambia neng try. The state security, the army, they are not our enemies. Whatever happen. Then neng more to this revenge business. This ngen lan more happen Palestine ak Israel. It's all based on revenge. Ñu nak send revenge the family parce que nga ew ñu rey la rey sa family yep nga revenge sala. Jammeh is gone for good. Jammeh is gone for good. The state security stays. Order one Bugari receive military be one you ne they work on order. Yeah, so gisee soldat yi parce que comme li PRO wax la sala ay xale yi ndaw jóg naan leen du fi happen su fa soldat yi nekkutoon dañoo gaañ police. They don't have the weapons. The police don't have the means. Xale yi réew xamadi be bugadi bu ci teku tey ñoom ñu bari naaw bi ñuy ñëw police dañ leen stop ñu stop. What they don't understand foofu na dinaa ne ñu dugal civic education and sala more programs on the radio and on the television because tey ñoom suñu àndutoon na soldat yi sala dañoo attack police force bi wala ñu NRA they don't have guns NRA amuñ guns amuñ the means pour ñu war a defend seen boppa te suñu na defend ñu naan leen brutality Gambian but brutality la ñoo wax I was once arrested ma ñëw police bi sala lim ma wax mooy jël na suma details yi xool na ma si computer bi gis na ma with the hair tie and all that man kay gis naa ko nekk di nok south east and west bu ma ñëwee ni ma xamee sax xaw ma ko dafa ñëw suma noppa bi rek mu whisper a plainclothes police officer mu whisper are you Mrs. Bojang ma ne ko yes I am mu jox ma suma date of birth ak yépp su suma noppa bi announce ko loud ma ne ko yes I cannot confirm on the date of birth because I don't know who you are mu génne police bajam bi mu won ma ko mu ne ma ne there's a car waiting for you outside there black mu won ma yépp mu ne not black sorry white mu ne ma ne cooperate nicely people will not suspect and will not understand. If you do not cooperate, I will use force. They have power to do it, Sarah. Yes, suma fa bëggoon aduna bi yëpp xam ko ñu TikTok ma disgrace ma Eva Sarr de lañ arrest mo noonu naan la daf ko mooy suñ aaxa su ko jàppee ñun la fi jàppoon ci internet bi di baas sin mimara waaye dootole suma ndukoon suma cooperate toon people will TikTok me because people yang doon dem si train station bi dinam doxi seen soxla yi ñu ngi maa gis dañ maa netaal video ko dugal ko TikTok and then man maa jaay suma boppa si marché bi but I cooperate ma dem dugal si moto bi suñ la ooyee leena lañ laa wax you commit it or you do not commit it te knowing myself and I walk ma dugal si moto bi sala so let Gambian also be cooperative ñuy comply with the state securities police yaa ngi face so much harassment from the Gambians themselves man maa ko witness bu plating boobu tamit jotee woon number plates yi ni tamit Gambians so rudeness to the police officers military bi army bi man I was driving ma taxaw mu ne ma ne can you pull over ma pull over open your boot ma open suma boot bi sala you know mu check mu pare ma ne ko are you satisfied sir ma ne ko can we do the move mu ne ma yee ma ne ko thank you mu ne ma thank you ñu jaara dem suñu yoon ba ma xamee sax but why lan moo tax Gambien bi suñ gisee military man rek am this so much anger in why and so much mer and disrespect for our policing why it is wrong The police are doing their job, and police ñu ngi leen ñaan duñ stop. This is in the best interest of all the Gambians. While liñ leen na wax tam nañ takku bi dëgër man loolu laa leen advice Gambien dafa soxor. Go mu ngi nii gis nga luñ ko def teg ko benn place te mu ngi doon dimbale anti-crime dañ laa liggéey teg la benn place ate woo jaw yaata la de lii ak lii wala naan la fii nga bokka kunda bi nga bokka kunda bi. This is not what Sissaho need and his team. Useless. Now that the police, we have graduates leading the police, I think we all should be honored and salute them. If they are wrong, you are wrong. But also, if they are working towards right, you salute them.
Tida Dugasina, let's just get her on speaker. Okay, that's fine. Thank you, Eva. Wabi amna solo. Lord, hara ñu wax Tida because dafa melni fa bëgg dem tëddi. Tida, you're on air. How are you?
Tida, tell na Tida di before 10 o'clock. Hana su wale se Tida.
Tida, lu tanga wara tela Tida, will Eva?
Dama xam ne su waale doon tega wala joko wala Sénégal bi doon tega nga war see dem bal fu seer doo tëdda waxtu bi de. Waaw wax nga dëgg dama fàtte ne loolu la wax nga dëgg ba pare dana dem opération maane takku na ba dëgër si sa waaw ma si waan
si sa Tida yow moom from day one you and the team has been on the ground every day yéen a ngi dem ak ñëw rek ne law lañ lekku lañ xam naa ne lappa nga ñuul nga so we want to dañ bëgg a jeexal si topic bi lan nga ñu mun a wax foofu noonu you be in the eyes lan lañ discourse te yow dañ ñu ko bëgg a instead of repeating everything that we've said lan nga si bëgg a add.
Waaw assalamu alaikum maa ngi nuyu képp ki nga xam ne yaa ngi seetaan Voice Out Digital si jamono ji dëgg la sala opération bi nekk na li nga xam ne lu métti la nekkul lu yomb ba comme si saa ñu ko waxee rek I wish nag moo mënoon a jàkkaarloo si saa face to face waaye xam nga rek time bi tamit mayuñu ko te moom tamit xam naa ne mu ngi busy opération bi nekk na li nga xam ne lu métti la sala te man lu ma foog ñi ñoo war a dimbale police yi ñun ñoo war a dimbale ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi si kanam pour bugg a defar réew mi luñ dee daj nag si biir bëri na yu bëri nga xam ne man suma war dama dee xool ñoom si saaw yërëm leen si saaw saa yu nekk dama ko dee xool rek yërëm ko because dafa nekk nit koo xam ne dafa soft te dafa nekk neexa waxtaanal dina ñëw sax di wax ak yow mel ni ku laa raab sax mel ni ku laa xam nga neexal so mu nekk liggéey boo xam ne lu métti la gis nañ ñi dangaa ñëw ñi taxaw si yoon bi di saaga police yi ñi taxaw di saaga journaliste yi xam nga Josuwang tamit ay sànni wante xeer jotoon na si am because buñ demee ba arrest naar bi booy ñu lan moo tax ñu arrest naar bi because naar bi seen waay la so naar bi ñëw na di saaga journaliste ba mu wax naan wàccee leen seen ndey caméra imaginal de muy wax loolu di woon gaay ni moom dégg na olof ba xam nga rek police yi mu jot si dóor benn jigéen benn mooy police yi seen media team mu jot si dóor kooku si kanamam bi ba kooku caméra bi daanu understand nga so lii yëpp nekk na li nga xam ne mu ngi happen mu nekk lu métti daal si police yi because every day more than 6 moto ñu ngi génn di dem ñi ñu ngi patrol ñi ñu ngi arrest mais tini bi mu ngi dem so most of the time suñ demee challenges yu gaay di am moo nekk ne dangaa gis ñu ngi ekkati kii bitikam bi ñu ngi ñëw waxaa kooku ne mu puus kooku ngay puus next person bi mu ngi toog téye loxo so ñun dañuy dem ne ko balaa ngaa toog ñii di ñëw fii di lifin sa bagage yi waaye nga commencé di pa nga ne du ma jóg lu tax ma war a jóg maa ngi amee suma ay kayit démb rek laa jógee fay KMC xam nga and then ñooñu suñ ñëwee si yow ñu ne la nga dugal sa bagage yi nga bëgg koo def problème di xuloo ba wax si ay wax yoo xam ne mooy loolu understand ne so loolu yëpp mu ngi happen waaye with all that gars dañ ko dee jël with respect because suñ demee dañu dee nuyu wax ak yow suñ njëkk ak taranga nekk na li nga xam ne ñun suñ boppa witness nañ ko dañ dee dem wax ak yow suñ njëkk ak taranga ba ñun suñ boppa yenn saa dañ dee moog PRO bi dañ dee wax ne PRO bi dafa too soft for this operation because nekk na nit koo xam ne sax daf dee ñëw di wax ak yow ba ngaa foog ne kii daf la ragal fekk du loolu te ñoom ñëpp waaye dangaa gis nga laajte nit yow dégg nga ko nga mën la ni waaw déggoon naa ko nit ñi wax ko waaye man dama ne dama xaar ba gaay ñëw si man lan moo war tax ngay xaar ba ñu ñëw si yow su fekkee ne yow xam nga ne fi nga nekk mu si kaw yoon bi gis nañ ki nga xam ne dafa sampa si kaw gota bi sax opposite de mooy Josuwang si bàmmeel bi foofu noonu sampa na si kaw gota bi si ko am la sampa bi dikkal bu gaa ñëwee di ko wax njëkk ak teranga waaye xam nga Gambia bi rek comme si Eva nu ko waxee dañ dee gëm ne police yi jàngu so pour moom maybe jàng na mu ngi try pour challenge gaay ne moom déedéet fi nga sampa waruloo faa sampa ak yooyu noonu waaye ba tey mu ngi commencé di challenge gaay bi bugg a mel ni ku bugg a saaga am na benn police mu ne xamu leen seen liggéey jàngu leen xam nga doo tiimu nit ki tamit fan naa tamit Gambien bi ñu dañ war a commencé di respect ñi nga xam ne tamit ñoo sol uniforme bi nekk na li nga xam ne daf dee rus na saa yu nekk su police yi demee wax xamu leen seen liggéey jàngu leen xam nga rek lu ko gars yi defee dafa nekk li nga xam ne lu métti la si xol so police yi daal li lañ nekk di daj mu nekk li nga xam ne lu métti journaliste yi tamit lu nekk di daj mu ngi over métti because ñun tamit dañuy dem def suñu liggéey ñun tey police yi su fekkee ne ànduñu ak ñun xam nga defu ñoo dem rek jël caméra tiim ko nit ne ko xam nga wax but police yi lañ dee àndal ñoom nañu dee wax ne jël leen lii especially man VOD suñu ñëwee dañ ma ne la ca tiida ana nga kaay nga jël because xam nga rek ñun lu nekk na gaaw rek fat so dangaa gis mosa bi taan ñëw bu ma jël wala mu ñëw ñit sa biir romba de yow yaa ngi jël leen mu foog ne yow moom nga nekk di jël soo ma fii di yooyee dinaa nangam tan sa ndey xam nga mu nekk li nga xam ne tamit lu métti la because ñun luñ nekk di jël à den of the day pour yéen la ñoom xamuñ ci loolu noonu pour ñoom dañ foog ne ñun dañ leen nekk di jël pour jaale noo anything man mënuma understand sax wala moo dee nekk problème beneen bi moo nekk moo bëgg a moo nekk suñu viewers yi dëgg xam naa ne you guys are great yéen a ngi follow Voice Out Digital because depuis day one ñu ngi leen a andil updates yi ba pare nekk nañ media house bi nga xam ne ñun ñoo leen ñu kaa post understand nga so most of the time dañu am this complaint ne ok woon ñu place yu yaaku foofu laa bëggoon a leeral tuuti balaa maa dem yenn saa suñ ñëwee di interview nit ki nekkul ne ñëpp lañ dee yaaxa seen place yenn saa ñeneen dañ dee ñëw su fekkee wax nga gaay njëkk ak teranga dañ la dem mën a wax ne ok mel nañ 24 hours wala ñu ngey dem ñu ngey ñëwaat balaa ñu ñëw terayal nga génnee fa lii so most of viewers yi dañ dee wax ne ok seen vidéo di waleen seen caméraman bi léegi sax amoo nga reyaw gaay di man maa fa dee nekk du caméraman caméra léegi bi ne nekkul ne yëpp dañ dee mën a capture understand nga yenn saa ñeneen ñi duñ dee yaa comme dañuy wane woon ñu place bu yaa soo gisee wane wuñ lu yaaxu rek xamal ne kooku yaaxu dara place am understand nga so ñeneen ñi waaw dañ dee ñëw ñu lacce la ñun ñoo dee ñëw ñu lacce la lan nga fii because ñëw nañu wax ne da nga war a génn fii ak yooyu waaye ñoom ñoo dee am na ñeneen yoo xam ne dañ dee wax la tamit loo xam ne am waaye ñun du suñu liggéey pour ñu mun laa wane déedéet noppi li nga wax du am wala du ñun dañuy jël rek gis nañ ñi nga xam ne sister Eva samp nañ pôle seen biir kër yi seen biir këram yi dañ samp génnee dañ laal yoon bi ba samp pôle yi nawet bi seen biir kër yi soo seetaanee vidéo yaa ngi gis dama ko dee jël ñi nga xam ne samp nañ ba seen am na ki nga xam ne def na sokowee seen mbéy bi la def sokowee so police dañ jël ñëw wax bi yow ba tey nga ne waa yow am nga kayit suñ ñëwee ana kayit yi nga ne waa sa yaay moo ko dencoon sa yaay dafa gaañu xam nga mu nekk liggéey boo xam ne daal man jàng naa si lu bëri te xam naa ne tamit war nañu respect yi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo nekk di sol uniforme bi ñu def ndànka ànd ak dal ànd ak tey ñun ñëpp ñu understandante affaire si def because maa ne nit ku easy la soo waxee ak moom dégg ak tara nga ne ko dégg man de bëgg naa puus lii waaye may ma tuuti rek ma oo ay nit ñi ñëw dimbale waaye soo ñëwee boo ko wan ne yow yaa ko gën a jàng wala yow yaa gën a xam liggéeyam am na ñi nga xam ne sax dañ dee dem ba bëgg a di mel ni kuy call ki nga xam ne most of them they are connected to the government des ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi si kaw dangaa gis ñu ne la ne waaw man doo laal suma moto bi xaaral ma call ministre nangam loolu last week rek amoon na maa ko post mu war a call ministre bi wax ministre bi li nga xam ne amut so ministre bi war a callaat maa ne mu ne ko soo la neexee sax nga call keneen mu call ma waaye moto bi dinañ ko yóbbu because fi nga paak moto bi waruloo koo paak léegi buñ jëlee moto bi yóbbu ko less than 10 minutes or 15 minutes mu war a ñëwaati delloo moto bi xam nga naka la def ba moto bi delloo kenn si gars yi mu call ma ne ma tiida ma ne ko naa mu ne ma waxal maa ne suma moto bi jëlaat naa ko xam nga ne loolu ñaawal la so luñ try di respect ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo nekk di def liggéey bi ñu mayante time ñu understandante ñu bañ a disrespect gars yi because saaga bi bëri na ñe nekk di saaga police rek which is not done waaw man loolu moo nekkoon sama kaar xam nga nag na da ngeen am anything pour laaj
Yeah, just one question right before you go. Hedna Everton Bogala la Jaratida. Through your observation, your young for DPD one, most of the places Kisnako, we affected yet. At any stage or situation, have you ever felt like there was a bias, as if you feel like they have treated some people more fairly than the others? Have you felt anywhere there was bias in that sense and stuff?
Lolo amut musuma gis lolu because mané dafa nek ñun ci men team bi la ngey andal bu moy team mané bi dem nañ këri speaker bi buñ demee këri speaker bi ñu won ko ne because that was a push and pull because speaker bi mu ko won moy këri family bu nek Talindi push and pull jot na ci am because mu ne nako gaay explainal mom këram bi fi la em du gëna fi gëna fi gaay ñu ne ko dédét sa kër bi fi la em waaye bitig yi ngeen sampa si biti warut faa nekk xam nga mënoon nañu wax ne speaker bi la dañ koo bàyyi ak yooyu waaye dañ ko toj buñ ko tojee si élection dañ delluwaat gënaa yokk a toj dem nañ fi nga xam ne tamit business si président bi la ñun ñëpp xamee ko si kër bi nga xam ne foofu la gaay foofu sabab bi boo di perekul buñ demee wax nañoo gaay ñu toj ko so there's nothing like ñu bëri ñu ngee wax ne ok this is politique ñu ngee play bias and everything loolu yëpp amul fa it's a fair game gis nga kenn ki si gaay mu ngi si physical plan gaay kenn ki ku dee gën a toj moo most of the time mooy seen lead bi foofu noonu dañ dem benn la mel mu nekk di toj benn taabu am ku ñëw ne ma xam nga ne kii taabuli jabaram la nekk di toj ma ne ko lan mu ne ma waa bi man suma bo di ko sonal ma ne ko jox ma sa nama jabar dinaa ko wane tey soo ñibee nga fanaan si période mu ne ma déedéet mu ne ma rule for one is rule for all su ma waree toj bu keneen war naa toj bu suma jabar te taabuli jabaram bi si biir bi la nekkoon daf ko yaaxa ba yaaxaat ko fan yëpp su ma ko see dama ko dee tooñ ma ne ko ne yow su ma fekkee ne man maay sa jabar doo reer doo li mu ne waaye suma jabar xam na ne dama nekk di liggéey so there is nothing like ne dañ nekk di feeboo kii or any déedéet dañ la dee waxal one ñu waxal la two suñ ñu waxee 3 times boobu moo dee nekk arrest duñ dee jékki-jékki sax ñu arrest la dañ la dee jox woon ñu dem ñëwaat so suñ ñëwaatee fekk la mu fuloo or anything si lañ la dee arrest te arrest boobu noonu bul dégg sax dañu ko dee def in a civilized way in a very nice way waaye am nga ñi rek lu la feeboo lu la neex nga dee wax.
Okay, thank you, Tida. Just to ask, out of curiosity, Talali Keraba Avenue, bi dañ fa laal wala ñu commencé wala demuñ fa?
Laala xamuñ Keraba Avenue.
Okay.
Keraba Avenue xam naa dañ ko laal président waaye nga xam Keraba Avenue tamit liggéey bu bëri nekkul Keraba Avenue soo ko seetloo nga seetloo am na waaye lu bëri comme nu Talinding bi mel sala tey soo eegee Talinding yow sax nga sa xol mooy seede am na booy bi interview bu Latrikunda xam na seetaan nga interview mu ne ma sista léegi su ma taxawee Latrikunda dama dee seen Sukuta dama doon wéy waaye bu nekk la nga xam ne comme yenn saa soo ko seetloo dafa comme tali bi daf dee yaatu boo xam ne dañ ne wane kon lii yëpp kon bokkoon na si tali bi yeah
okay, that's fine because ñu bari nekk fi ñu ngi eager how much necessary or unnecessarily like am na message few of them couple is like laala gu ñu talal ñu embassy ñu ngi si yoon bi anam like ñoom dañoo bëgg a defante rek foog naa
wow because plan bi right now moo nekk from West End ba Brikama from boori Banjul noonu boor boobu noonu boor Joswan ba Brikama so from there maybe la guy di laal Costa Road bi then anytime mun nañu laal li nga xam ne moo nekk Kairaba Avenue because Serekunda moom clear nañ ko already Serekunda ba pare am na ñi nga xam ne dañ jëgër boppa dañ leen dee daaxal ñu demaat ñu waat toogaat so liggéey bi ñoom ñoo gën a tax liggéey bi nekk di métti ak di yàgga si loxo ñi nga xam ne moo nekk ñu amee opération bi
okay. All right, Tida, thank you for that contribution. I'm not solo lol. As a media person, as a journalist on the ground, on the field, do you guys have any concerning challenges there, or you guys are working hand in hand with the stakeholders? Do you guys feel protected? Are you being heard? Any challenges apart from being more, apart from wanting more money and bonuses, of course?
Well, right now, never been challenges to be honest, because I remember some of them film more than partner. They are not going to some way for Nigerian needed the second hand party.
Yeah.
Because media has a digital one and younger man like them up. So now you want to get out the film, my guest to use my ken. My book direct ami bi ne ma bul daw maa ngi nii sa kanaaw ma ne ko ok dama foogoon ne kenn nekku fi balaa ngay di fa dogal boole si bagage yi so wax dëgg yàlla dañu dee protect suñ taxawee di film sax da ngaa gis gars yi taxaw ñu xaar ñu bañ pare ñu muuf ba pare depuis bu opération bi commencé ba tey ñoom ñoo ñu dee jox lu ñu lekka suñ pare ñun ñëpp a dee dellu mobile police ñu jox ñu lekka bu saf lekka bu nekkul lekka boo xam ne dañ ko tooga nii rek ay lekka yu saf yu amoon na balaa ngaa di wax ne joolaa ma bëgg a lekka dañu dee jox lekka yu baax ba pare tamit si fiil bi suñu dem dañ dee mix ndox yaa ngi si moto yi dañu dee jox ndox moto yaa ñu dee yóbbu ñun ak gars yi like ñu ngi work together daal it's nice ba pare mu ngi tax ñun tamit ñu gën a xam ñoom seen liggéey ñoom tamit ñu ngi gën a xam ñun lan mooy tamit ñun tamit suñu liggéey foofu noonu.
Okay, just to let.
da ngaa gis ne push and pull daf dee am diggante journaliste yi ak ñeneen ñi. da ngaa gis ñoom ñoo dee ñëw ñu kaam ñu because comme lu mel ni Bafra buñ fa eegee jigéen ñi génnoon nañ ci saaga journaliste yi ak yeneen waaye da ngaa gis ne police yi ñu génne ñu kaam everything. So wow loolu la daal but everything is cool smooth and nice.
Okay, so just muy leer just because you guys are covering this on the ground and you are working hand in hand with the police, and again under every day, doesn't mean that you are always on their side. So you are there observing what's going on. Just muy leer like some of the people having that because they are thinking, yeah, it's not an easy job because you have to be by, yeah.
man yow xam nga ñun VOD faruñ fenn ñun comme ni ma ko waxee ñun tey suñ demee fii rek day foog ne fii lañ gën a faral dan fii amoon na ñi nga xam ne dañu dee wane sax yéen ñun ñi yaaxa seen bagage yi ngeen dee gën a interview dan ñi nga xam ne day happy but most of the time ñu nangu comme ñi nga xam ne de laaj nañu liggéey bu nekk di happen nii duñ dee nangoo wax on caméra da ngaa gis ku ñëw mu ikkati 200 mu may ma mu ne ma ne liggéey bi rafet na ak yooyu noonu soo ko ne kaay bi interview la mu bañ understand so ñu dee bugg a wax moo nekk ñi nga xam ne affaire si bante bi laal na leen understand mooy ñi nga xam ne seen place yi ñu ko support si ko because ñoom tamit foog nañ ne ok suñ génnee wax xam nga nañ wax lu nekk suñ xol bi ak yooyu noonu waaye most of the time ñun dañ dee bugg a balance dañ dee am fii comme buñ demee si marché bi gis nga jigéen ñi si marché bi ñu ngi doon jooy ne ñi ngi duñ leen nangoo dugg si biir marché bi ñoom seen boppa ñi ñoo dee génn di jaay si mbedd bi te marché bi mu ngi am space wane naa space yëpp gis nañ space bu fa nekk so VOD nekkuñ fii si site bi bàyyi ki yoon ñun dañ fa nekkal ñëpp comme lu ñëw rek ñun lu njëkkaa ñëw rek ñun loolu lañ jee puus comme xam nga duñ jee xaar coppati fi dañ jee make so ñu am everything ñu génnee ko so bu kenn feel ne dañ bias nekkuñ di wane kii wane ka leen comme ñun ku njëkkaa ñu ñëw rek xam nga ñeneen tamit doo leen mën a forcer pour ñëw wax ak Gambia bi ñu bëri ñi meñuñ caméra ñun xam nañ loolu noonu dina nga gis ku taxaw wax lu nekk si xolam bi nga ne ko baal ma interview la mu ne la déedéet man bëgguma ngeen génnee ma TikTok bëgguma ngeen génnee ma Face so kooku mënuloo koo forcer mu wax
ok loolu leer na am na kenn ku wax ne mu ne li nga def rafet na waaye day génne vidéo yi gudda yi mu ne sàmmi ki déedéet comme long videos xam naa short videos la moo wax but I think if you are a keen follower di nga gis ne there is a storyline
so balaa maa xaar ba Eva mu ngi nekk Lamin so the whole day la dañu jógee Westfield dem Lamin so balaa maa foog su ma jëlee bu Sala Njaay bi balaa maa xaar dem ba Lamin jël bu Eva bi join ko dafa nekk lu yàgg te yéen a ngi toog yéen a ngi yaakaar VOD pour ngeen seetaan so moo tax bu Sala su ñëwee rek boobu lañ jee edit rek boobu mu kii nag nga seetaanaale boobu nga enjoy ko balaa bu Eva di ñëw
yow bàyyi ko mu follow every time because sometimes we actually have long and short videos anyway so just keep following any last words Sida so that I let you go Sister Eva jóge na si table toogom bi de xam ma fu mu dem dafa am break how man am na la question nag but if she has xanaa mu call her back she's gone for break yeah but anything final no
lu ma bëggoon a wax rek moo nekk ne foog naa ne government bi war nañu continuer liggéey bi because nekk na li nga xam ne lu easy lu ñu ngi gis changes daal si biir dëkk bi gis nga dëkk bi nu mu leeree xam nga ba pare nga gis place yi am na ñeneen ñoo xam ne sala so doo ñu mën a sol yére bu weex nga dem si place yu noonu waaye tey mën ngaa sol lu la ne nga jaar foofu ba pare nit ñi tamit ñu bàyyi mer bi police yi they are not our enemies dañ fi nekkal pour ñun ñëpp soo gisee police yi sol uniforme bi tey pour ñun la pour ñu protect ñu so buñ dee gaaw a mer su fekkee ne nit ñëw na sax police yi wala gars yi fiscal plan yow any other person ñëw nañ sa bitik bi di wax ak yow njëkk ak teranga please try nga respond noonu bul jéem a ñëw di so most of the time challenges yooyu noonu dañ ko dee gis nekk na li nga xam ne rafetewuñ ko understand nga su gaa yi ñëwee wala soo gisee ku nekk number one mu ngi génne li nga xam ne mooy bitikam te yow yaa ngi am seen génne sa bagage yi su gaa yi ñëwee nga ne leen may leen dem nañ benn jànga kooku noonu néegoom bi dañ génne yëpp bu gaa excès si gaa yi mu ñaan gaa yi ñu leen baalal leen comme man amee single mother ma oñit mu ñëw dimbale ma génne suma bagage yi comme soo leen ma yaaxalee lii du ma féem gaa yi understand ko waaye suñ gaa ñëwee nga ne man ku ma laal di nga xamante naa ministre nangam xamante naa diw nangam obviously bala wala ngaa traité maanaam dañ ko dee traité sax da ngaa gis ko wane yow di nga ñàkk sa liggéey bi gis nañ ko fi Star TV seen boss bi wax na ko fi mu ne ko di nga ñàkk sa liggéey di nga xam man maay kan ak yooyu noonu ba mu kool benn ministre so nañ bàyyi yooyu noonu yëpp ñun ñëpp dañ fi nekk pour liggéey Gambia bi pour mu mun a rafet pour Gambia bi dem kanam because tey ñun suñu bopp ñoo dee wane ak Gambia dafa dellu gannaaw Gambia ku tukki sax mu ñëw dafa dee wane ak Gambia nu ma ko bàyyee woon noonu la nekk ba léegi so su fekkee ne gars yi ñëw nañ pour am xelaat bu rafet bii nii pour def change yi nga xam ne mooy yoon bi pour setal li nga xam ne mooy yoon bi na ñun ñëpp bokkal loxo ñu bokkal liggéey bi ñu mun a yaatale liggéey bi ba pare bu gars yi dee ragala caméra bi tamit because ñun dañ fa nekkal pour ñoom xam nga ñun suñ fa nekkutoon tey nit mun naa ñëw ne police bi def na ma nii def na ma waaye suñ see ñun ñu nekk ba pour yëpp mun leer dara bu nëbbu bu kenn wax ne lii lañ ma def wala dara nañ ànd ak dal ak teegi na yooyu noonu man daal loolu laa wax
gis naa ne tiida arrest yi bari na lool yan façon nit nga foog ne lañ nekk de gina arrest because am na ñoo xam ne ñu ngi complain ne especially the incident of the guy ki nga mention sanga was it the that Haji guy from Star TV I think ne because ñu ngi feel like ne xëj na kooku waroon nañ ko arresting ko because ñu ngi jaay ne xam na minister bi call minister bi te ñeneen ñi the others who have been rude to the police they were all arrested was lan la maane doon seet foofu noonu was there any exception
maane nit putoon di fa seet dara maane di la seet dara sala comme nu ma la ko waxee rek pour maane su jógee pour liggéey su dara lu dul liggéey góor bi dañ fa demoon like comme day before that day dañ fa demoon so buñ demee am kenn si staff ami la mu génn si ne mu génn si xam nga wax rek ne moto bi duñ ko ñemeñ a laal because xaw ma moto comme ne ñoom forme dañ am connection with the government understand nga arresté bi tamit nekku ne ñëpp lañ ñuy arresté pour loolu mu leer ñan lañ ñuy arrest moo ne nga jox nañ la woon yi nga bañ wala ñag yi nga xam ne kenn joxul leen place ñoom ñoo dem si koñ yi def fa lu leen ne te loolu dañuy dee arrest pour woon leen ñu génnee bagage yi within this period of time suñ ko génnee si la arrest bi day am wala fekk nga saaga a police officer wala nga bugg a dóor a journalist because gis nañ ñooyu noonu da ngaa gis ku ñëw ne la soo ma laalee soo ma vidéo dinaa def so the guy Star TV because ñun that day woo ñëw na taxaw foofu noonu sax dañ doon dem mooy dee bu ñu waroon a commencé talinde laatal ku naa pour dem so si leen gis mu ngi paak moto bi si bunti officer so maane si lañ wàcce bu ñu wàccee maane mu ne gaay ku ma moto ñu ne leen moom si biir so si la ko mu ne ko sax moto bi dañ koo too ñu yóbbu ko because woon naa leen ne bu fi kenn paak mu ne na ko maane woon kàttan bi moom mooy kat understand nga so maane mu ne ko starting this operation kenn musul maa laaj loolu maane mu ne ko man moom tam mu introduce waa mbétee rek tayaleewut ko fi mu ne ko ne démba ñëwoon nañ fi te tey yaa ngi fi ñëwaat tegaat sa moto góor bi ne ko yéen kenn yóoni wut leen yéen da ngeen fi nekk rek pour bugg a def président Barrow bu mu am bu ko kenn saanil karta si suma vidéo bi soo ko seetaanee man rek a capture foofu noonu because time boobu media house yi kenn ñëwaat ñu bëri ñu ngi woon si moto bi rek dañ foogoon ne sax comme dara xapul waaye man ba ma gisee maane wàcce dama wàcce so mu ne waa da ngeen bëgg pour président Barrow bu ko kenn voté loolu moo tax ngeen nekk di def kenn yónni wut leen
Tida Eva daf la doon gannaaw mu daf doon reer si ron de daf la doon gannaaw lekk na si lay ne la laaj benn nga dem tëdd nelaw mu doon lekk si ron
si la wax ne dafa mu ne moom léegi mu ne kenn yónni wut maane moo nekk di liggéeyal boppam soobee yàlla maane dina rek lu ko nekk di liggéey maane mu ne ko maane noppi rek because maane am na fulla boo xam ne su waxee doo teg baat so mu noppi rek mu nekk di xaar mutu bu war a ñëw too mutu understand ne so léegi si la dugga mu call ministre bi so bu mu callee ministre Ibrahima Sila mu ñëw mu jox maane téléphone moo lu explainal ministre bi according to maane soo dégloo suma interview bi because sax naa maane ban ministre la call si la ma maane wax ne ministre Ibrahima Sila la call ma ne ko lan la wax ministre bi mu ne ko daf ko wane waaw maane dafa ñëw foofu pour harass ko something like that léegi maane si la ko explainal ministre bi lu xamul ministre bi mu ne ko delloo ko téléphone bi moo waxut ma lu xew so luñ jotee woon nag moom ministre bi kenn xamul ko waaye maane dafa toog xaar ba moto bi ñëw because dañ waroon a def maane mu ne du mu fekk yóbbuñ moto yi te moto bi rek lañ waroon a yóbbu waaye mujjante bi dañ dóor moto yi fa nekk yëpp pour maane mu wol leen ne nekku fa pour kenn ministre bi sax su waxoon ne maane bul yóbbu moto bi maane daf koo yóbbu because kooku lu mu defoon was not right dafay ñi ñaa doon wax ne waaw comment si maa ko doon de ñi ngay waxee dañ ko waroon a arrest nekkul ne dañ leen ñëw ñu arrest ba su fekkee ne dañ leen saaga wala nga bëgg a xeexa gaay wala ñu jox la woone nga bañ koo def si la nga dee arrest waaye nekkul ne dañ leen ñëw ñu arrest so loolu moo tax nag arrest bu ko woon waaye moto bi yóbbu woon nañ ko ba pare yóbbu woon nañ ñeneen extra 3 moto sama 4 moto si nga xam ne ñu ngi paagoon foofu.
All right, thank you, Tida. Eva, if you have any question for Tida, otherwise, and Columbi. Eva, do you want to come on board? Yeah, you mute, Eva.
Mute?
Wow.
No. I have a big question for Tida.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Te daf la baalal kon.
Tida. No, Tida liggéeykat bi mu si moom xam nga kii liggéeykat la num tudaati si saxoo ak maane liggéeykat lañ du dee mën a saf si ñim dee saf mooy ñi dee bañ nga gis dëgg bi ba pare nga bañ ko si ñooñu la dee safee waaye dina am special interview bul fàtte ne Valentine da ngee ñëw Eva ya bi inshallah
da nga bëgg a wax loo ci
no balal naa la yow because comme mo la suma dara loo xam ne def ngeen ko defee dara loo xam ne man maa ko dee wax si groupe bi yéen xam ngeen loolu
okay
lu woon man point naaw ko bu yàgga bi wax ko si groupe bi man xam ngeen ne man loolu dunduma ko
waaw waaye suma liggéey bi moom amuloo si dara loo wax wax dëgg yàlla.
All right, Eva. Tida, hama bayla off. All right, you take care, yeah? Okay.
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, yëpp ñu fa. Bu leen fàtte di like di follow. Comme yéen mi nekk ay request long vidéo yi dañ ko dee andi waaye yéen saa yi ngeen a gis na tamit comme place yaa ngi sori so balaa ñu nekk di xarante so loolu moo dañ ñëw ne waaye na ñu post ñu am rek ñu seetaan ko balaa leneen di because soo ko seetaanee tamit yéen saa long vidéo daf dee tax nga tayal waaye gannaaw yéen a request long vidéo daa ngeen ko di andi long vidéo nag te bu ma kenn waxati ne tiral vidéo dañ ko daal.
All right, Tida. Thank you so much. You have a good night. Speak soon. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you so much. Eva, do you have anything to say? The topic be mom. Fuck nine mom. Yep.
Okay, so currently.
Huh? Sa network bi tay nak baaxut de.
Ni ngay defé ni. Du man de, du suma network bi de, du man de.
Okay, mu ngi freeze si man. Kon si man la. Okay. For some reason, mu ngi freeze. Okay. Are you happy with this topic? Are we done with it?
Obviously, well, you indicate on board. It is a great one. We should have been on air since.
I think it is really necessary, to be honest. Then maybe you in the key story bi Mohammed ku nekk America about the land issue. just for more story, then see what we at least leave the viewers to
why fogulo ñu def ko ñaar, because this is important. Then you indi Mohammed bala mo gudare, because
okay
dañ ñu indi Mohammed parce que Mohammed tamit mooy diaspora live.
Wow,
Wow, because su ko defee rek, because nit ñi tam video yu gudda yi toog di ko seetaan dañ dee forward rek. You know?
Okay, no problem. So then
why dañ dee forward rek ba pare Mohammed tamit am na a very very nice diaspora la, lu moo indi di diaspora lounge sa internet bi bañ
lola
comme li nga wala rek tey ba ñu
mi seetaan wax nañu kan la internet
waaye lu ñu wax
la wala Eva
en ko man